Good morning and welcome to today's live show. There's some quick little things I wanted to talk about as we go forward through this. We really have not confirmed this as a strong base. We have almost done it on the Qs, and we might do it straight away this morning, but something I just still want to be aware of is anytime this daily does cross down. Okay, still want to be aware of that in this area. Even if we have our trades, we want to be paying attention to if those things fail, because this still could happen. So I just wanted to be aware of that. Now, another thing I wanted to point out was the 2 hour. The 2 hour has not crossed up, and this is a big reason that I'm saying, hey, if we see even a 30-minute curl up, let's just make sure this 2 hour is following, make sure we are able to go in the upward direction again, and then we might want to watch out up towards the upside if we just make that upside move. I actually would like this to back off again, weirdly enough, but we'll see how this shapes up. As of right now, the 30-minute is trying to curl up into positive territory. That would be a fantastic sign for the SPY, and then we can target daily expected moves like 607.70 to the upside. And then if that would say fail very quickly, we can look for 595.92. And the reason that I'm pointing out be open to this still happening is just because of where that is, where the daily expected move is. We know 590 is a huge level for this week. So just want to keep my eyes peeled, right? Keep my eyes peeled, be open to it. As we look forward, we can look at the Qs. Similar situation, already confirmed up. So already saying, yes, we are going to attempt to take back the 5. This is where we have to see, you know, we're obviously people that like to go, hey, I like that. That's a signal. It's confirmed. Okay, awesome. Maybe I take a trade here and then I say, okay, now if this fails, I need to manage my risk, because that could be going down to a daily expected move. And we could end up seeing like something like this over time, right? We could end up seeing something like this. So if that's going to happen, then I just want to be aware if that signal is failing. If it's not going to fail, then most likely we're going to curl up this 2 hour today. Right away in the morning, you're going to see this take back the 5, and then we have to watch out and see what's going to happen around 528.19 to the upside, because there is a gap fill in that area, and then we also to the downside 513.47. But right now, as we're pointing in that upward direction, if we fail, watch the downside. If we actually are able to curl up, then we would trigger that to the upside, and maybe we actually are able to build up over time. If we consistently make those higher lows on the 30-minute, you can end up in the upward direction. So this does look like it's trying to be a lower or a higher low right now. And so we need some buying pressure to step in. Earnings, hopefully that doesn't flip it on its head. Speaking of earnings, Microsoft originally, okay, now it's down dramatically again. I saw it like down to these levels, then, you know, post-market, the aftermarket yesterday, I came and looked at it, it was like back up to here. Now it's opening up even lower. This is the risk of trading earnings, right? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if this was a little mini head and shoulders to head up. You don't know the numbers they put out, and then you don't know if, hey, this is a 2 hour divergence saying weakness. So you can see dramatic downside when you're showing the weakness and momentum, and they see it as bad news. People are very heavy to hit the sell button. So hopefully everyone was managing position size. We talk about that a lot around earnings. Hopefully you were doing that. Something that I did find interesting, you know, the CPC does come out pretty much at market close, like, or sometime at night, like after the market's closed. And I just wanted to mark this off because I think this is important to pay attention to. I do have these lines for a specific reason. And that's to show, like, when people are getting very, very bearish, we want to look for potential for, hey, have we been bearish for a little bit of time? Are we crossing back through that? Because we could be making a bottom at that point. So what do we notice from the CPC at this moment? Well, we're actually seeing this, which is very interesting to me at this moment. You're seeing the call side almost lose momentum here, which means we might see a momentum move. And if this crosses through, we need to treat it very seriously. This is why I'm still talking about the bearish cases. This is why even if we head in the upward move, if people are overall getting too bullish again, or we see something like this again, I would just be careful, because this right now is showing me, hey, it really looks like the call side is starting to die down a little bit, and people might be about to shift to puts, which would mean maybe we're about to see some kind of downturn. As of right now, as this is crossed through, it would say positivity is the most likely option. But as you look forward, if it can go like this again, you're just like, ooh, I don't know if I like that too much. But yeah, we pay attention to reversal signals for upside moves up in these levels. We pay attention when we see something like this for possible downside. So I would be paying attention to my trades. I would be paying attention very closely. Do I think it's something to worry about right now? No, the price action has not proved that it's something to worry about just yet. So just be open to that. We did see a lot of people to the put side over the last few weeks, right? Down at these lows, we saw a lot of people puts at the exact wrong time, which makes sense. Then they say, okay, let's use those puts to shoot it higher. There are still people holding on to that at this moment. There are still people holding on to those bearish plays into February. All right, guys, and we're going to go into some other stuff, but I just wanted to mention the 90% off sale is still going. It ends this week, okay? It ends this week, so if you want to get the full technical analysis course for just $100, this is the last week to get it. Let's take that off the chart. And then I wanted to pull up some other things, right? I wanted to pull up data. Now, what did we say about GDP yesterday? I said, well, if this is supposed to come down, that would be good for yields. Let's see if yields have come down from that. They are coming down from that, so that makes sense there for the most part. But we're getting a little reaction up as of right now. So some, let's see if there's reversal signals, first of all. So you have reversal signals here. So this is kind of worrisome. This is kind of weird to see. You get that GDP that suggests the slowing in growth. So that would mean, hey, we potentially could be not seeing as in, you know, if the economy's not growing as fast, then you're not going to see as fast inflation pop up. So that's why you're overall going to see a downward reaction from that data, but you see that it's starting to pop right back up. So it has a triple divergence. It's holding the triple divergence, so you have to be just aware that this, even if it goes up, the market can go up, but if that starts to go up to higher levels or goes up rapidly, the market could react. It might be ultra sensitive to something like IWM, right? The small cap stocks. Just something to point out there. All right. Next thing we might want to go over, let's go pull over here. I'm going to pull up the SPY. We're going to look at some key levels for the SPY. So I am going to go back over to that chart for a moment. We're going to look at some key levels and see if they add up to where the daily expected moves are. Right now we have 610 to the upside, so still looking at this area up in here as some solid resistance for the call wall. That's your biggest call wall is 610 for the day. And then we have the call wall at 605. So 605 right above us. So if we can take 605, 610 would be something to pay attention to. We have our daily expected move as well. If we actually see 605 as resistance, then we'd be paying attention to numbers like 600, numbers like 595, and the biggest put wall 590. So if you guys want to see those real quick so you can get those levels, right? We see very obviously 610 the biggest, 605 where we need to pay attention for possible resistance, right? If this call wall is going to hold. And then we have 600 to the put side, 595 to the put side, with the biggest level being that 590 we've been talking about. Let's just scan over to this real quick. Look at 590, major moves happening over at 590. So just be aware of that. This is kind of why I'm saying if people are still bearish and they're not willing to buy, you have to see if they hit the sell button and we end up down towards 590. I think that would be something very interesting, right? Where is 590? It's way down here. And if we look at a 30-minute chart, or maybe even like an hourly chart at this point to kind of clean it up, right? That hasn't curled up yet. If we see just a brief, quick move like this to go towards 590, I don't think you get all the way there. But if you make a quick move like that, we can still be paying attention. So yeah, I just wanted to keep those levels on your guys' radar. I don't know what happened with my overall settings, but I had to change this to black. It started to get some like really bluish, foggy blue. I don't know what happened to it, so I just turned it to black. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. All right, how you guys doing this morning? Anything you guys looking at? I mean, I know we did get Tesla earnings, and Tesla is seeing that upside. Did have the reversal signal, but just know you got to take all this. Even though it had a reversal signal, it's playing out. Just take it with a grain of salt and know that it easily could have gone down, right? Okay, this is earnings. And look at this. Look at the earnings. It's red, right? It's red and it's up. So this is why earnings can be super confusing. You see the reversal signal proves to go to the upside on bad data. That proves to be good for buyers. So very interesting there, but nothing really to do. This is a good example actually here of, hey, this could have been some kind of double top. This could have been the weakness in momentum on the MACD and the RSI, or at least the RSI here for the 30-minute. And then you go, oh, this has to be bearish. And then they just say some good stuff, right? Or they print some decent numbers and then it just goes up. And then it could literally be a trap to the upside and then that starts to fail. So, you know, I'm not someone who likes to take plays right after earnings. I like to see what shapes up over the next like 48 hours. But this would be a fade. If that faded and lost the 5 here, I'd be a little bit worried about Meta. It seems very overvaluated, even on the daily chart as of right now. I think this is too much. But hey, someone said 700 for Meta. You called it. You called it. I wasn't willing to put money behind it, though. I'm not someone who likes to trade around earnings. Just not my thing. Microsoft, we'll see if this can make a comeback at some point. Maybe it's going to go fill this gap first. Obviously, we are going to turn down this 2 hour. It's still going to be, even though this is doing that, it's still going to be like right here. Okay, so if you're able to buy back up, you would still want to see higher lows and things like that, because this is now like, hey, I am a lower high, right? If the daily crosses over, that's saying I am a lower high, and we'll pay attention to it very seriously. All right, cool. Let's go look over at volatility. For volatility, just wanted to show how we dropped below the 5-day, and we're kind of moving sideways. You might think like, oh, there's some massive divergence. There is divergence here, so I'd be aware of some kind of 2 hour move to the upside, right? Some kind of 2 hour move that makes probably a lower high still at this point, but we don't necessarily have the divergence on the RSI at the same time. If you look at this RSI, you're noticing that that is down. So that's just telling us, okay, we can pay attention to it, right? We're aware of it, but mainly if we're taking any kind of bullish trade, we're just paying attention to how we're going to manage that trade, which if you don't know how to manage the trade, that's why we have that course up for 90% off, that we're going to do this sale every single year. So you'll have to wait another about, what, 11 months to get the sale at this price, to get all the courses there. Very, very nice, though. What are you guys thinking? How we doing? Google US economic calendar. Yeah, if you want an economic calendar, I use the tradingeconomics.com/calendar. You can see the link right here. tradingeconomics.com/calendar. You can select which countries you would like. Right now we're paying attention to China, Japan, and the United States. Very, very nice. You save that and you go, okay, I got GDP for them. And then tomorrow we got the core PC. Hey, we got a bunch of Japanese data. All right, China's giving out their manufacturing PMI. Right, so summary opinions, this might be something interesting. And you can see all that data going through. So I just bookmark it. Wanted to see what that hub.com thing was for the Elliott wave. I was like interested to see how well this thing tracks it. I just want to watch it over the next month and see what happens. Let's see if it does a 30-minute chart and tells me something. Let's see. Yeah, the Elliott wave thing is saying we're going to get to pretty much 620. That's what it says on mine, which is kind of wild. But then if you pull it up to a daily, it's like, hey, you're still potentially in wave 5. Looks like. I don't know. Elliott wave, super interesting. Okay. All right, we have opened up. All right, let's see. Right now, we're above the 5. We actually got a little gap above the 5. So we have left behind another gap. Technically, you've left behind another gap. We'll see if that's able to maybe fill intraday in the morning here. Looks like dollar going down, HYG going up. That's overall a good thing. We'll see what happens. Alrighty, let me pull this over. Let's get set up, Lucas. What are we doing, man? If you do have maybe an IWM play, I actually do have, I think, weekly expected move, or a daily expected move for IWM as well. AMD gapping up. AMD actually had interesting signals, I would say. I would say this is pretty nice, right? You see the 2 hour, you're looking for that possible 30-minute divergence, but when you see this big reaction like this, you're going, oh, these are some great closings. We could see this just start to confirm up. Hey, it's confirming up. Eventually, it will most likely get a 30-minute pullback of some sort, but it might have to get overbought first, which is a good thing. This is showing major strength, right? You built up to a good level. You're getting that little tiny handle to go higher. Then you might retest that 5 just to head up a little bit more, right? See if we can head up a little bit higher and then retest and start seeing that bounce off. As this goes more and more positive, it's more and more likely to see a higher low, which is great. So you're getting a 2-hour confirmation. You actually got that technically yesterday on a bad confirmation, but you had it on the RSI and the price action with a bunch of bars here. So MACD is catching up. This is the first, I would say, like perfect confirmation that, hey, we are most likely going to go try to fill a gap or something like that. Thoughts on Wolf? I think Wolf looks interesting, to be honest. To be totally honest, I think Wolf looks pretty good. Like, okay, so you made this floor. So the reason I like this is you made this kind of like deep move here, and you were able to buy it up quickly, which is very, very nice. Because now you're just looking across like this, and you're going, okay, maybe it's just slanted, and we're doing something here. And the consolidation right now isn't bad. So you should see a big move soon, to be honest. Now, is that going to be up or down? You just want to see if this 2-hour can cross. You're noticing a big scoop down, little scoop down, right? So you can see how this is overall just kind of like the tightness, if you will. Right, so this is getting tight. If you can see this 2-hour confirm up, I would say with a strong bar here, which I don't think I have correct levels for this. I didn't make them this week, but just so take it with a grain of salt. This is last week. I think last week's levels was like $8 or $8.20. So you can maybe pay attention to that because that is a key level at this point, right? We see where the rejection came in, the possible support tried to hold up here. So a level of about $8, very, very important. But I don't mind the look. I like the daily chart so far. I think that the daily chart needs to go positive, but you have confirmed some forms of divergence here, right? We see that plain and simple here on the MACD, some big divergence there, and we've held that divergence a long time. I'm not going to include those right now, but I'm just going to pay attention to this. And then we see the RSI, and you look at the RSI, and you're like, okay, we're still holding those divergences, but we didn't really hold this point here. So there could be one more curl down is what this overall is saying. It's saying, hey, we could do this first. We could go fill that gap first, and then we'll see what happens. That's kind of what this is looking like according to the MACD and RSI. The price action, though, if the price action just curls up a 2-hour, and it's pretty strong, you kind of take out this high, you're pretty set like, hey, this level is going to get tested. Because if you look at this high, and you kind of pull that across, right? I pulled it down a little bit, I kind of cheated there. But you're looking at this, it's like, okay, support, resistance now. So if you break through that, you're breaking through resistance and maybe going to use that as support to head up towards something like $8. I don't mind the look at all, though. I just think it could, based on your MACD behavior there, you're like, okay, another curl down on the daily scale is definitely possible. Alrighty. Wanted to go look over at IWM. I actually wanted to look at this because this is kind of what I'm talking about with actually with Wolf, right? It's just making that good, like it's holding up well, almost like it's consolidative. This looks almost a little less consolidative than Wolf right now, but this is actually really close to curling up into positive territory. You're getting that signal from the RSI. You're getting it from the price action right now. You need an hour and 55 minutes for that to hold, but this can end up in the upward direction, and I believe I have a daily expected move for this, so I'll just shout it out real quick. Daily move for IWM. I did end up making it late last night. It was 229.89, which is this level pretty much right in here. So you're looking at 230. 230 is going to possibly hold as some resistance at this point. So you'd want to be paying attention if the 30-minute crosses down from there. But this is a great point to get to, right? This is a great level to get to. You see something like this start to form, that would be fantastic, right? Now, in this scenario, you try to use the 5, and then you fail, you lose it. In this scenario, you try to test the 5, you keep it again, and you see that thing break through. That would be very, very nice for IWM at this moment. Cool. I like it. I don't mind that. I just want to make sure it all stays good. Let's leave this over on IWM, and I'll go back over here. So as of right now, we're trying to confirm that up. You need 30 minutes here, right? 23 minutes left in the bar. See if that can confirm some upside there. Q is trying to do it. We would just not like a rejection bar here. We still want a positive bar above the 5, above the 9. You got it right here, so the fact that it's slightly continuing makes sense. This is just when you have to be aware, like, okay, if my trade's going to go wrong, this 30-minute might cross down and we could head to lower levels. So this is where everything we talked about starting to play out, right? We're trying to make a base in some way. And now the next part is, hey, this says we can go up. But during that, if we're wrong, right? If a seller takes over, if sellers take control and this turns down, we just need to be aware of that because it's really close to the center line. So that's all I'd shout out for the Qs. Levels here on your screen for the Qs. SPY's still trying to do it right now. So I think SPY is what you need to be paying attention to. All right, I'm back in the chat. Sorry about that, guys. Just a lot to talk about today. Let me get this set up. Let's see here. AMC was looking pretty decent actually originally. Do I have a range for the day? Yeah, it's the red lines. The red lines are always the daily expected moves. Yeah. So the red lines are the options calculated levels. So you have a 68% chance to land in this big zone here. So 607 and 70. And then we did show off at towards the beginning of the video, you know, maybe a few minutes ago, we looked at the put and call walls for the day. Earnings not good. Fed pausing, yet market up. Well, they're pausing because the media pumped it into everyone's brains that they're going to have to hike rates. I don't think they're in a place where they can hike rates. I just don't think they can. We can go look at Bitcoin for just a moment here. Let's look at a 2 hour for Bitcoin and just say, hey, yeah, this is great. You built this back up. This is great. This adds some credibility to the SPY and the Qs being able to build back up. But is this going to just be smooth sailing? Most likely not. Most likely we'll see something like this, some kind of consolidation in all this. Turn down, turn back up. But this can continue right now. You're not overbought. But at some point, it's going to see that 2 hour pullback in some way to probably retest this guy right here. You notice how many times we tried so hard around the 5 to do it, and then you end up losing it. So, yeah, I don't think this looks too bad. It's just a little bit... I think you need a moment where it kind of takes off. That would be nice. Look at let's look at a 4 hour. That's what I was doing. See, 4 hour, if that crossed down, you'd still be a little bit like, oof, that's a cross down below the 5 at that point. But as of right now, trying to go positive, so nothing too bad there. We'll see what happens with it. Wolf not doing horribly. TLT, looking at this, just be aware there is some 2 hour divergence here. There is some 30-minute flatness popping up. But if it breaks through these levels, that would be pretty damn bullish for TLT if you could break through. Because the ultimate goal here was to reach this level, right? You guys remember when we were talking about this? Hey, go up towards this 88.27, see that left, see this as a head, get that right shoulder in some way. Then can we push the upside? Because that would be a pretty solid measured move. It means these rates might actually come down. It means TLT might go up. But with every great signal about to break through resistance, you usually will see the opposite signal as well. So you just got to see which one is playing out over time and see if you can get that solid breakout on, say, you know, a daily bar, like a daily move that really just starts to extend this higher. All right, SPY showing some green as of right now. We ain't looking bad. We're actually looking pretty good. Intel filled the gap and fell through it. Bullish crypto hardcore. BITO, Lucas, can you check? BITO, I mean, these little ETFs, mainly just want to do my analysis with Bitcoin, like, to be totally honest. But this is a 2 hour curl up in positive territory. I mean, once again, this is adding a little bit, like, doesn't this just look like the kind of like the SPY or the Qs right now? It's like, hey, yeah, we went higher, we dipped down, and now we filled a couple of we filled a gap, and now we're gonna try to make the next upside move. That's what this overall is saying, right? And it's using that 30-minute to kind of give that stair stepper, give the higher lows on the 30-minute, just like we're talking about in the market. As far as BITO goes, you'd really want this to get up to these levels, this 26. You'd really want this to get up to there, be able to see some kind of resistance for a retest of the 5 and curl back up, right? Keep it simple. this, and this, if we see that, we can break through this and see a pretty good upward move. What was that, 24 to 26? So you could probably see like a $2 move up to there. But that's about it for that. I mean, if the daily crosses over, it's not looking good, right? This could be some kind of, very complex move to the downside. Right, but right now you don't want to discount the fact that Bitcoin's overall just heading in the upward direction. None of this stuff has proven to be falling just yet, but if it is, you are ready to react, and that's great. It's good to be paying attention to both sides. And it'll be interesting to see how people position themselves today. But just know, remember what we talked about GDP. So with GDP, yesterday we were talking about this a little bit because we were talking about GDP. If GDP came in lower, that would be good for the yields. But some people do realize that a weakening economy means less growth. And so that actually can cause people to take money out of, say, growth stocks if we keep seeing lower readings of GDP. So just be aware of that. I don't think it's anything to like trade off of. I think it's just something to be aware of. And if I see a bad signal, then I need to understand, okay, I need to be taking some off the gas. And we did show off the CPC, right? The CPC, those low levels of calls, those look like they're about to shift back up to puts. They really do. So if those are going to shift back up to puts, that means something bad is going to happen. So we're just aware of those things. If something goes wrong, we're very aware that it can go wrong fast. But as of right now, everything's kind of going right. This is saying I'm trying really hard to be a higher low. So that would mean this or this or this is more probable at this moment. That can change very quickly, and that's all I'm talking about. Yeah, so, and yeah, if you wanted those levels for the SPY, I know people were asking how high or low it could go. 607.70 to the upside, 595.92 to the downside. Tesla is tanking. Yeah, Tesla's giving up the move. Tesla's giving up the move. Yeah, 2 hour never confirmed up either. So you're always aware that these things can fail. It might just be a retest of the 5, might just fill the gap. This is probably options taking over, right? So just pay attention to that. People could be selling their options. I mean, there's a huge amount of volatility in Tesla all the time, so I assume there's a major amount of volatility in this right now. Wait, we can actually check. Like, that's the funny part. Let's just look at the next strike price or something for Tesla. What is it? 390, 395 and dropping. Applied vol going into tomorrow. 94%. I've got 94% and kind of growing. How likely do you think it is we correct by 10% from this point compared to the probability of doing so from 6,200? I think you have to be aware of a correction at any time. That's why if you keep hearing me today, you're hearing me still say, hey, yeah, this is trying to be a base, but let's not discount the fact that it can fail, right? These aren't 100% things, right? Just because we've seen it, potentially happen like this in the past, right? We saw some kind of move up. We got that big dip down, and then it went up again. Okay, well, we're kind of seeing that a little bit. So just because we've seen it in the past doesn't mean it has to play out the same. It still could fail. And that's why I'm just like, okay, if a 30-minute rolls down, then that's not necessarily a good thing for my calls. We could end up going lower. The 2 hour has not confirmed up, right? So I think you're at risk of it soon. I really want to believe that a corrective move, like I said, if a corrective move was really going to happen, I figured January, so we're still in January. It could still happen right now. It could continue. But we're more so seeing signals right now that are conflicting that argument at this moment. You're seeing some pretty damn good strength here from IWM too. So we'll see what happens. SPY looking all right though. My goodness, Tesla, that is some expensive freaking options, dude. Like, what, $800 to $900 per contract for the closest strike with the call side. I didn't take SPY calls. I actually took IWM. Now I can talk about why I took IWM yesterday. Overall, just kind of I believe that we are going to see upside, right? So this is me just putting my money where my mouth is. I like the divergence here. I like this here. I saw this confirm on the RSI a little bit, and then I went, ooh, okay, that was confirming really, really nicely. And actually, it fell off on the next bar. So I was a little worried going into the morning, but thankfully, right, we're around earnings time, around big data time. I'm always downsizing the positions because volatility's higher, so things are more expensive anyway. And I'm like, hey, I'll just make some money out of these plays. Right, so I did take IWM. I took that in the form of TINA. I took some TINA calls, actually up towards these highs. So if we can get there rather quickly, that would be very nice for me. It looks good right now. It's just the options haven't seen that premium kick in yet, which is interesting. I was wondering if people were still trying to short this thing in some way. Maybe it did kick in. I'm just not paying attention. I mean, it's up 20%. Not bad. I think I have that was about $400. Trying to keep it below 500, right? My base level, trying to really keep it below that this week. SPY looks nice though. It looks like a test of 607.70 is very likely with that strength. SPY puts yesterday for the move down. Yeah, yesterday, the time to take puts. Obviously the retest would be nice if you just have balls. You just take it like right when it tags that. And then you see that thing fade it, and then as you see this confirm back up, you go, okay, I'm out of that for sure. Or you just say, hey, weekly expected move is close. Big Blue woke up. IBM. IBM, solid. Just solid with the earnings. Daily crossed up, daily momentum, and you see the explosive move, especially when you have daily momentum with you. That's really, really good. What's that up? 12%. 12% is crazy. So now what are you looking for opportunity? Well, 30-minute consolidation, 30-minute pullbacks. Those are two things that I'd be looking for, but no real way to analyze this. Just, hey, if I have calls in this, I'm happy right now. I'd probably, at the high, I don't care where this thing is right now. That's a big upward move. I'd be probably just taking profit and leaving some runners at that point. SPY really liking this as of right now. As we head into the end of the month, we could end outside of that, right? We don't have a lot of time left if we see an upward move. Wolf giving up the possible. Yeah, it could gap fill to the downside first for Wolf, right? So for Wolf, we were talking about, hey, this is a good signal. It really is. It was saying, hey, I'm going to try to take back the 5. It tried to take back the 5. Now, is it going to fill that gap and go? Or is it going to completely get crushed, fill this gap, and then make a reversal signal down here? As of right now, still leaning towards the upside move for this. I think the 2-hour looks really nice here, actually. I think that looks good enough. I think you've had a couple of these. You've gotten tight now, and I think it looks pretty good. I just want to see that 2-hour confirmation, and then we possibly can run all the way up to $8 before you run into resistance again. As long as you can break through this right here, because you just see that little zone. We just kind of pull it across. You're like, okay, there is a little zone here. Bad things, right on it, right on it. There's a gap within that zone, by the way, right here. So very important level there. If you can break through this high, hold it. Pretty sure $8 would be a good level to pay attention to for Wolf. So yeah, this is trying to do some good stuff. The thing that worries me, I'll tell you one thing that worries me with this move right now, because someone brought up correction. If we do this, and then we quickly do that, I'm going to be worried, because that's going to look like this on my MACD. That's going to look like this on my RSI, and that's going to give me all the reversal signals that say this is a daily top. So just be aware that this could be like one more push higher, and we got to watch out for the next trap. And that's why I pointed out the PCC. I'm going to do it again. Or I'm sorry, the CPC. I'm going to do it again just to show it to you guys. I want you to see how it's almost like the call side is getting tired, right? It's almost like people are getting less into calls, right? And they've been like that for a bit. So if we see that upside move and we actually see these calls get deeper or something like that, and then we see some kind of topping signal and this starts to react back through, that can be something problematic. So I'm saying if this like today goes like this, tomorrow goes like that again, that would just be wild. And then if that crosses back through, that can actually be a decent bearish signal. So if we have, you know, signals behind it to prove it as well, like with a 2-hour divergence, that would be super interesting. The yellow line on the RSI is just the signal line. There were some complex things going on down here with stocks like Apple and other things that only had divergences that were very clean, but they were on the RSI. So if you put this signal line up, it's kind of like a trigger if my MACD is going to be lagging way behind, right? You notice the MACD is lagging way behind right now. We haven't gotten the confirmation on the RSI. You still have an hour and a half left, but it's just something on the RSI can help you out. You don't have to have it there. I normally don't have it on there. Like, I almost never, like, have it on there, to be honest. The reason I actually put it on there was to give you guys a visual representation, right? I'm pretty confident looking at divergence without the signal line, but I just wanted you guys to have a visual representation of like, hey, this has triggered, right? This has confirmed on the RSI, and then you can wait for it to confirm on the MACD if you'd like. Take it early with the RSI if the price action looks good. And then as long as you're managing trades, I'm pretty confident in you guys. Yeah. I'm a visual guy, so that's how I think, and I'm like, other people might like visuals too. Oh, not that one? Do you mean that one, or do you mean this one? This one's going to update, guys. This is one of the best times to join the Patreon. Again, we say this in the last few days of every single month. This is the best time to join the Patreon because you're going to get updated monthly expected moves at the very beginning of the month on a weekend, and you can like prep so much before these moves actually start to take place. It's awesome. I mean, Ben, if you're talking about doing something like this, like I get it. Like trust me, I get it, man. It's just that doesn't really like help me too much seeing that. I'd rather just pay attention to what's going on. If this low is broken, okay, then we're not gonna carve that out. Right, if the low gets broken, is this a higher low anymore? Right, if this happens, is that a higher low anymore? If this happens, is this the higher low anymore? No, so it's very obvious. And it's like, I could do this, we could end up doing this, and then turn right back up. I just want to see, like, this is your breakdown, right? Like, you see your breakdown kind of right here. And you're right there. You really tagged it almost spot on. You're so close to tagging it. It's almost spot on with the little wick here. And so if we had, you know, if you turn on extended, you might see something like this. But we'll probably see actually deeper than that. I just think this is a great level to consolidate to actually head higher. I think this is a great thing. You saw the strength. Hey, the sellers could not push it to lower levels, so the buyers might push it up again. Pretty cool. What about the 585 gap we didn't fill? Yeah, we didn't fill it. We still can. It's just we'd need these signals to start to fail. I don't think you're going to, though. Not right now. That's why I'm saying this. If the 2-hour does this, and then does that, and we see that CPC start to shift around, right? People take a lot of calls here, and then right when this drop happens, it's like, oh crap, this is bad. We see a reversal signal. That is a signal that likes to curl down daily charts. You still have daily divergence at the high, right? You see how quickly things can change. That's why we change so rapidly. That's why we pay attention to both sides, because we're looking if this daily can cross down. What crosses down daily charts? 2-hour divergence. So if you get a 2-hour that goes above the monthly, and then you come back down into that, and you confirm 2-hour divergence, you're at high risk of turning this down. And since someone already brought up the gap down here, actually at 582, right? Technically, the close is at 582. You could see this and end up doing that. And that, I think, would be bad. Now, why would that be bad? Well, because you have daily divergence. You see that very plainly, very plain and simple. We were looking for this point. We were like, I'm not too confident in this. This isn't really divergence. Now you would have it, and it would be very significant. So we'll seriously pay attention to that. We'll pay attention if it does this, does that, and then turns back up, right? We're always going to be aware of both sides. Always. IWM reaching to the highest point that it really should today. We'll see if it does something crazy. AMD, we went over a bit ago, but I think you're fine to ask about it. AMD, great little structure in here, right? Little handle, right? So you're trying to, I think you might have needed a deeper one. Like a pretty deep one would have been nice, actually. But you were able to hold up at higher levels, so you got to be aware that this could fail. It's not like the best thing in the world. This is like, hey, this is good. We're trying to take back the 5. This is all great. But if this 30-minute crosses over, where is it? It's right by negative territory, which means the sellers could still be in control of this. The 2-hour, that crossed up. We have an hour and a half for that to be a good cross up, technically. Right? The RSI said, yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, that's a pullback. All right, this is good. But the MACD is just now saying this is good. This was a negative bar. This is a positive bar. So right when this triggers, you start to manage trade, right? If I'm taking a trade here, I start to manage. What would the management be? Well, we talk about it very thoroughly in the course. 90% off, $100. Get it while it lasts. Literally goes away this weekend. But this is how we manage trades. We look at shorter time frames to do so. If that curls over, that's right by negative territory. That's completely contradictory. And then if we would turn back up, we can say, okay, now we have a higher low. Right? It just might mean the timing might be right here based on the 2-hour chart, but if my timing is off, I want to have a way to get out and then get back in. It's just part of the plan, right? Because this doesn't have to do that. This could just go bam. And so you want to treat this seriously and then be like, all right, now I can go back in and see if this makes that upside move to go maybe fill this gap, top of the zone, right? So I think it's pretty good. I think you have 2-hour divergence down here too. I think your daily chart is rejecting, giving you that point of divergence again. You can kind of see that on the MACD here, holding the upward divergence. That's great. That means that there's a lot of built-up tension here. The sellers are pretty weak, and you can see a pretty damn good move, or even a good move up to here, right? But you got to make sure nothing's going wrong. There's a lot that can go wrong in between there, and it looks like it's fading as of right now. SPY's fading right now. Are they rotating out of NVIDIA? I mean, most likely. But NVIDIA's doing what I said, just like looking at AMD. Remember how I said it's going to make it, it made that cup and handle, but it was very tight. Look at NVIDIA compared to AMD. Curled up, deep handle, curls back up. Now you got to see, hey, that's actually a good signal that you're going to try to take back the 5. And it's still holding as of right now. But if that 30-minute would cross, look how tight it is here. If that starts to cross, you're quickly going to be losing this low. You can go test these levels, go make a new one, right? You could see some kind of 2-hour not cross here, actually. I think you are more likely to see this as some kind of handle that tries to push you higher, maybe to test 135. 135 is a key level for NVIDIA, especially for this week. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Let me tell you why real quick. NVIDIA, 135 is a very key level. If you're part of Patreon, you know why that's a key level for the week, right? If you were part of Patreon, you know why this was a key level for the month. And since we're at the end of the month, and I want you to test out those monthly expected moves by joining Patreon, I'll tell you, there's a monthly expected move right here, and you bounced right off of it. There's a weekly expected move right here, and if we measure from the closing bar to the closing bar, probably there, and we take it off of this, we would go, oh, a test of 135 makes sense, right? So now you know there's a monthly move here, and you go, okay, well, that was really useful. Then you go, where's the weekly move where we can reject from? Well, it's actually 135. So this is where you'd watch for rejection. Yeah, you see how much this starts to make sense. And then the gap starts to be like, okay, that is scary because we gap below a weekly expected move and continued. So don't think that this is like bullish by any means. And you were talking about drawing some sideways lines. I mean, like very basically, you could be flagging on a 2-hour. This could be a move that continues to see stuff like this and then fails. I think that's less likely, but we'll see. So yeah, I think this is a fine deep handle. I think you're trying to confirm that. You're starting to unconfirm it, so you want to be paying attention right now. That hasn't even crossed down on the RSI through the signal line, though. That's why we're giving that visual representation, so you can see, like, this is a rejection, but is it a bad one? Is it one that's going to shoot you down? Well, the signal line is still holding, right? That average line is still holding as of right now, and your MACD's not crossing through it. Or I'm sorry, your your RSI is not crossing through it. MACD. Just blatantly purple in front of me. I'm like, MACD. Just completely off. I'm gonna pull up my other charts again here. Trump got tariffs for Nvidia around February 2nd, though. I don't know, man. He's gonna be going through some pain there. That's probably why, I mean, their CEO was selling so much. Their CEO's been selling for a long time, my friends. Yeah. All right, let's see this thing go. Yeah, it tends to come down already in December. So yeah, that's not a good thing. Now you want to see if this is a gap fill and go. We want to see if this can close below now. If this is a fake out. But you're not even below the 9. You're not even filling the gap yet. And then you're not even crossed over on the MACD, not even crossed over on the RSI. So we don't have to be any kind of worried just yet. Apple puts up 7%. Yeah, see, Apple, look at the rejection divergence that can be here. But this is gonna have earnings after hours, so it's just like, were these big players that know something, or are they trying to bait you in some way? A lot of calls on Apple right now, but Apple puts are probably printing. They probably still will too. That's the funny part. It's like you see this, you're like almost like a double top. I mean, a little bit lower, so I don't know if that would be considered rejection divergence just yet, but you would say at least double top or lower high for the 30-minute. See if that dips down, right? Have we gotten that big dip down that we were looking for? Not necessarily. That'd be nice if it happened today. You test the 5. Like you just go boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Would be nice. But earnings, man, this is why, you know, Apple's my favorite stock to trade. I trade Apple all the time, right? But I really haven't traded that much in 2024. I feel like I haven't traded Apple too much in 2024. But yeah, this is just blatant like, earnings is around the corner. I like trading Apple. I'm still not going to trade it. I'll trade the indices, right? That's why I'm doing IWM. And IWM looking pretty good. Exactly, yeah, they're a lot about buybacks. I feel like every single year around January you see, well, this is buyback season, kind of. Hey, that's good. We will have daily expected moves posted tomorrow tonight, actually, for Nvidia. So if those can help you out, that's great though, Lil AR-15. I'm glad that play is working out. Took puts on MSTR. Let's go see what it's doing. Oof, I don't know. It's starting to take back the 5, and we're taking puts. We're starting to curl up a 2 hour, suggesting some kind of counter move can happen to all this. You're kind of like 30-minute high or low. I mean, we're still aware, like, this can be slanted, and we could do this. But remember about this part. This is crossing up. If that crosses up right now, it's above the 5. It seems pretty like, hey, we're trying to turn this thing around. We might even go positive, start to see bullishness again. For a moment. Then you just got to pay attention. Lucid giving Tesla a run for its money. Let's go look at Lucid. Lucid again, making this nice floor actually. Not bad. Not bad. Kind of reminds me of like a deeper wolf or something. Like still holding pretty well in here, seeing like a big move down, right? Big move up, big move down, small, 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 small. Let's see the next big one. That's kind of what I'm seeing. 30-minute not being the most helpful here, but weirdly enough, that's divergence. Maybe. Not quite. Not quite. Slightly. Tells me, hey, it just says like Lucid could be trying to take back the 5-day. Lucid could be the daily charts right by the center line, so you could just be piling up in this area. If I see this cross up, hey, test the high, go make a new one. As long as you can really hold and not fail with this wick, like in this area, this is your breakdown, right? We see the breakdown happening in here. Bam. So anywhere in here, we want to be cautious. If we can take that back, that would be great. See if you can test the high, go make a new one. Watch out for divergence. That's right. On the next push, though, guys, for a lot of these daily charts, right, even 2-hour charts here for the SPY, you want to pay attention for divergence. As of right now, it's like, hey, we confirmed it. Uh-oh, are we going to unconfirm it right away? Because you technically confirmed the closing above the 5 as well on the 30. Pretty nice. The last time Apple had earnings was actually, I think, when we saw our... No, that was a while ago. Last time Apple had earnings, it reported, let's see, negative earnings technically, and then a revenue was positive, and it saw positivity over time. It took a while. It wasn't like some sporadic move up in one day. It was kind of like back and forth for a few days, and then it ended up drifting to the upside, and then momentum to the upside took over. That's what it looks like to me for Apple. The last time they actually had good earnings, was actually the moment of that yen carry trade, and they fell after the earnings. They are like pretty much the day of earnings. You went from a high to a low, minus 12% in like 2 days. It's kind of crazy. Pretty wild. We shall see. We shall see. Oh yeah, Goonie. I'm really excited for volatility plays in 2025. Very excited. Here's that move. I'm just wondering if this shoots us down in any way, right? We're still aware of traps and things. People overall going to the call side, dollar dropping down, HYG up. This should be positivity in the market, honestly. Which I guess we're positive right now, so I shouldn't complain. NVIDIA just looks like it's trying to make a higher low and trying to take back the 5 for a retest of 135. Well, it looks like to me. Okay, let's see. IWM still showing some good, decent amount of strength there. Wolf trying to do its thing, right? You notice that on Wolf. See, Wolf, you see the big upward move, you fill the gap, and now you're seeing these wicks come in. So this really shouldn't worry you unless a 30-minute crosses down. That's it. If a 30-minute crosses down, things are a lot different here, right? You can kind of see almost a little head and shoulders right here. So 30-minute crosses down, got to treat that a little seriously. DJT was looking okay. Starting to give it up. AMC has a decent little signal here. Actually about to confirm. This is kind of big for me. I need to open up my AMC stuff again. GME already seeing it, so that's great. This is great. Okay, awesome. Ew. Gross. This is good. So far, you're like, hey, that's 2-hour divergence, right? Bam. So my GME stuff, I'm liking it right now. I just want to see this daily curl up too. Then I'm willing to hold it. Then I'm willing to hold the option. We did confirm this yesterday. This is why I was telling people like, hey, seriously, pay attention to GME. This is a reversal signal. Bam. See if that can head to the upside. All right, can we get through 28.35? That was a key level for us. And then can we get through $30 pretty much? Or if you want to keep it simple, does the daily just curl up? Does the daily MACD curl up? You're seeing it on the RSI. Look at that. But see the spacing here? This might take a day or two, or some strong positivity tomorrow. It's got to hold this. See the strength tomorrow? We'll see. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. This is the only thing that kind of worries me as far as Black Swan goes. I don't know if this thing did squeeze. I don't know how that would affect the market. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of risk here. What content even have? All right, as I think things are a little bit risky, taking a little bit of profit on the way up for IWM as we hit the daily expected move, taking a little bit of profit there. Taking just a little bit of profit here. If we can do this, maybe I could reload those contracts again. But Tina, I know I got to be quick with Tina. Moves pretty quick. Pretty nice, though. I do not mind that. Very nice, actually. I don't mind that at all. Nice breakout in silver. Silver was super interesting. I mean, look at the flagging for silver. We were talking about the possible flagging happening here. I mean, you look at this, and you look at this. I mean, overall, it's not going to be a perfect flag. Nothing's ever going to be a perfect flag. Like, a lot of the time, nothing, like, sometimes it holds up perfectly, sometimes it doesn't. That's just how it is. But if you notice that it is holding up at higher levels, and then you see that break to the upside, you see that unconfirm, right? It didn't even confirm here. It kind of did on the RSI and then just bounced right back up. That's fantastic. And this is why blowing up the time frames might be a good thing, right? The 2-hour chart, 2-hour crossed up. So once this 2-hour crossed up right here, are you likely to break this, or are you more likely to break this? Well, the 2-hour crossed up, right? The 2-hour was going this way. So once you saw that, you go, oh, we're going to maybe consolidate. Another little bit of flagging in there, and then bam, great move. So silver going nuts here. Daily rejecting. I don't mind this at all, man. I think what did we say yesterday? 29.50, somewhere up in here. You can get up to there. Then you see a dramatic pullback. Then you retest the breakout, maybe fill a gap or something, go back into this a little bit deeper. And then you see that curl up, and you got left, right? You got left, head, right shoulder. I mean, this looks pretty cool. Yeah, thank you for pointing out silver. Now, I didn't take silver. I was focusing on IWM, right? Focusing on IWM, focusing on the indices, and taking profit right at that 229.89, right? This is where I believe we have resistance, so taking some profit there, maybe leaving a couple runners, right? Then we're chilling on it. We're chilling on it. If I see something like, oh, a deep pullback, we go fill this gap, we turn back up, I'll say left, head, right shoulder, and I can be right back in the play for Tina. Good old Tina. INTC, not nice. INTC's not being nice to you. Intel's not being nice. Did they have earnings? Oh, they have earnings. Not nice. Could be nice soon. I mean, the sellers are getting tired, but it's really dependent on the earnings and what is that? After hours today? So, yeah, kind of a risky time. Means if I take a play here, what am I doing? I'm managing the position size. Hood, you're an animal. Let's go look at Hood. Right, anything with earnings, I'm not going to do too much technicals on. Hood, something a little bit worrisome is the dramatic upside move. 30-minute divergences were great. We're getting rid of those, so this could be a whole new uptrend for the 30-minute for Hood. The only thing I'm aware of is the 2-hour. If that thing crosses back down, that's where weekly expected move. Whenever you go make this new high, if it's going to be a trap, weekly expected moves are very good at telling you that, okay? So if you made a weekly expected move for Hood, and you're seeing that get tagged over the next couple of days, or like day or so, or actually even today maybe, and then you see that fall again, just be aware there's a reversal signal now on the 2-hour saying what? The daily could turn down. What does the daily have? The daily has a bunch of divergence on the RSI, not necessarily on the MACD at the same time. So this would mean, what are we going to do? Well, this would be at risk of seeing this. 42.50. maybe even all the way down to fill the gap down towards 39.50. And then you're able to turn back up, and that could take you pretty deep. So by that point, you could be making a lower high. All right, so it's just to show you the risk. Now, those are the risks. If this continues to curl up and up and up, we just said the 30-minute is overall wiping all of this out. It's starting to wipe all of this out. So this could be a whole new trend before that even happens, right? We're just aware of the potential risk. That's all. And so if the 2 hour crosses, if the 2 hour crosses down, you got divergence. It is a pretty proven thing that taking calls is kind of silly until you see that thing turn back up. Not liking the bear flag on the SPY. What time frame are you looking at? I mean, if you're looking at this as a bear flag, I understand. Some people might be saying that, right? I think someone was bringing it up. Pretty good tag there. And someone was bringing this up today, so it's just, for me, it's less about do we break through this. That can be an early hint. It's more about, do we stay below this low? Do we close below this low? Right? Do we make a new low? And really, if you really want to take it into full perspective here, it's, hey, this is the 2 hour higher low right now. This is the 2 hour higher low that's being attempted. So if we don't lose that, we can still end up in that direction. It just might be complex, right? Just might be a little bit more complex. You see that right away, left head, right shoulder, right? If it's gonna be complex, that's fine. And that's why we just look at a 2 hour and go, hey, whenever that crosses up, looks good, you know? You need one candle to 590. I think today would be your day to do it. Earnings after hours, I'm just scared that someone's going to be like, yeah, we have a buyback, and just everything goes up. I was still nervous. I'm still nervous about the state of the market. Like, don't get me wrong, that's why I'm taking profit. Like, I want you to understand my behavior here, right? This is a learning channel, and I want you to understand my behavior right now. Because I took IWM, I made a daily expected move. That daily expected move, sitting right around, right? I'll just give it to you, right? 229.89. That's why we marked off 229.89. Right as we get up towards it, I sell most of the contracts, to be honest. I sell most. That is how fearful I am of this market. I take my little 30%. And I go, okay, cool. I'm done for now with risking a bunch of money. I'll leave some runners if this thing wants to see upside. But if it wants to pull back and prove like, hey, yeah, I'm going to continue to head to the upside, I'm more confident to risk money. I still think the state of the market right now is kind of on a knife's edge, and we didn't even curl up on the 2 hour from this overall move. So I think a retest is very likely. But I want you to understand the behavior. I still understand we have earnings. I still understand we have news. I understand that we have those things on the CPC that I've shown off a couple of times on stream, and I'm going, all of these things are kind of worrying me. So do I want to be seriously worried while risking money, or do I want to be very confident? I want to be very confident. So if I have something that makes me less confident, and then another thing that makes me less confident, and then another thing that makes me less confident, what does that mean? Well, I have to kind of bring into the fact that when I was risking this amount of money, I was very confident. Now that I've seen three things that are making me less confident, how much with that amount of confidence am I willing to risk? And that's why I sold in this area. So I just really wanted to explain my thinking behind this overall take profit and leave runners here for IWM. Does that make sense? I mean, is that helpful for some people to hear? Just the decision making? Like, I just want to know if you guys like when we talk about like why I'm making certain decisions. I just really want to know that, because I don't want to be talking about something that you guys aren't interested in or you don't find helpful, right? So I just want to make sure that when I talk about that decision making, it's overall kind of like helping some people out. Yes, absolutely love your thought process. Okay, at least it helped one, you know? GC, thanks for saying that as well. We just like Luke. YS. All right, Goonie, awesome. Natural born nerd. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and that's the benefit, I think, of understanding like what really helps you out as a trader. What really helps you out is going through your decision-making process and trying to make it as very simple as possible. I would even encourage you to speak it out loud or make videos of your own, right? Imagine if you filmed yourself trading and you talked about the decisions of why you're making those decisions, and then you could look back at that video the next day, whether something went wrong or right, and you could look at that video and be like, man, I need to do that again. You could be like, man, I don't want to do that again. I think that'd be very cool. Christine, you're close. Christine's close. Christine's close. Trust. We're gonna flip that. We're gonna flip that 0 in front of that 9. All right, Christine. Tyrell's like, dude, that's like the point of the channel. Yeah, I know, but I'm like talking about something that I traded, and I just want to make, like, I know people like to look at the stocks that they're focused on. So I just like to clarify every once in a while, hey, you know, sometimes I just need some reassurance, guys. Okay? Do you guys know my love language? Do you know my love language? It's my wife says it's words of affirmation. I don't know. I've never taken a test or anything. I don't pay attention to that crap. But I'm like, yeah, if anything, I like being told that I'm doing well. Because I'm someone that's gone through a lot, right? I'm pessimistic sometimes. Tomorrow, month-ending rebalance will take place for institutional funds, leading to sector rotations. What sector are you looking for them to rotate into? Is it going to be probably, I don't know if financials would be it. I think you would say energy, maybe tech with the big dips you've seen in some tech stocks. Small cap. I think energy is probably what you'll see. Do you have a checklist? I used to, Dr. CDBDC. We actually give out that checklist that I used to use. We literally tell you it in the course. Like, I tell you my checklist. Now, there are certain things that I think aren't as important, but they can add some credibility to certain things or make me worried or less worried. Those aren't really on the checklist, but they're things to be aware of, right? So the daily chart is something I'm aware of, but that's not necessarily something that's going to change my trade right now. But yeah, we go over it. Actually, we give those exact reasons. Like, we tell you why we pay attention to everything we pay attention to, and then we break those down into reasons why this can add some credibility to risking money, right? So we tell you MACD is really important. Here's when that thing is a check mark, right? We tell you RSI is really important. Here's where that's a check mark. Divergence is really important. Here's where that's a check mark, right? Why and why not? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I actually encourage this, doctor. I always kind of encourage it because I did it myself. I bought a little whiteboard. I've told this before, but I bought a little whiteboard. I wrote down my 5 main reasons, like the 5 very obvious things to take a trade. Weekly expected moves. And then what am I seeing? Are we at a weekly expected move? Check. What am I seeing at the weekly expected move next? Are any of those boxes checking off? Do I have divergence? Do I have this? Do I have that? What's the state of the market? You know, those are more the little things, but the divergence stuff and the MACDs and the RSI, those are all very important. The price action, very important. So yeah, I would highly encourage, spend the $15, right? Take it seriously. Risk your money to learn, risk your money to be a better trader and be like, I'll pay the $15 to buy a little whiteboard. I'll put it right there on my wall, maybe get a little Velcro, stick it on your wall or just have it right in front of you. And then just right before you take a trade, are we at a weekly experiment? Okay, is the MACD curling up? Does it have divergence? Okay, does the RSI have it at the same time? All right, that's 4 right there. It's great. Awesome, Dr. CBDC. Come back in and ask questions, you know. We really encourage that. Can you look at XLV and this 5 retest? Ooh, I like my 5 retests. Healthcare. Healthcare would be interesting right now. 30-minute curling up. This just does look like a retest. I don't see anything on the RSI. I don't see anything on the MACD. This looks like a great retest for bullishness to continue. Even though it looks very, very good, there's no reversal, you still have to give yourself that 1%. This is a situation where 1% chance, say, to be wrong, right? Just give myself the 1% I'm wrong. That way, if this shifts down, I take it seriously because you're losing the 5. But other than that, what the heck is wrong with this right now? Like, this looks like test the high, go make a new one, like one of the best looking ones I've seen in a while. But just because it's the best looking one doesn't mean it's 100%. So you just got to be aware of managed risk, but very likely that that's the move right now. You can actually, I think, make weekly expected moves for XLV. Maybe we should do that with the indices. Maybe we should, maybe I should revamp. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll revamp the weekly expected moves and try to give it for some main indices and things like that, or sectors, if I can. Let me double check if I can for XLV. I'm pretty sure I can. LV. Let me double check. I just have to make sure it has the data points. Okay, it looks like I can make weeklies. So I could make weekly expected moves for certain sectors. That'd be very cool. So as of right now, though, I want you to look at the state of the 2 hour and tell me what you see. Look at everything in front of you. Everything that maybe you even took the course and you're looking at stuff, okay? What are some things I want you to pay attention to here? All I want you to talk about in the chat right now, right? Justin, you gave some money. Thank you for the money. I appreciate that so much for the donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But what do you need to be paying attention to? Well, let's look for some key things. And the key things that I want you to pay attention to as price looks right now is resistance, right? So an R, resistance. I want you to look at the positioning of the MACD right now for the 2 hour chart. And I want you to look for scenarios. Scenarios. All right. What is a very obvious scenario? Where is actually, let's start this from top to bottom. Where's the very obvious potential resistance? We should look at sector performance in the weekend prep videos. Actually, that's not a bad idea. We might add that in. Time's been crazy, especially with how the market's been. But yes, I'm going to maybe do that. That sounds actually pretty interesting. Just to go through some sectors. Maybe look at the performance in the sectors there for maybe even XLV. This is pretty good performance. It'd be nice to talk about it. It'd be nice to talk about the fact that the 2 hour made a higher low, right? This is what happens. You make that low, you make a higher low, that's a reversal signal, right? And look at the MACD, really close to the center line. You like that. Then the daily curled up and you're just riding. It's nice. So first of all is resistance. Where's the resistance at? Yeah, you'd say 148 or around there. You'd probably be doing something like this and going, okay, where'd these highs come in? Where'd the lows come in? Okay, so anywhere maybe in here, I need to pay attention to resistance, right? Very easy. There you go. There's like, you know, we did it in like a minute here, but this is like a whole section of the course is talking about, you know, support, resistance, weekly expected moves, right? And so we talk about these zones and how we really find them a little bit there. Zones can be a thing that's difficult to explain, so make sure you come back to the channel if you want to talk more about those. But this is great. So now, next, look at the positioning of the MACD and the RSI. Well, let's look at this positioning here. Let's zoom out. Okay. If we hold that across, how often do we see the RSI go higher than this? Right, and we're thinking very simply, how often do we see the RSI go higher than this, zooming out all the way to April of 2024? Well, let's you know, if you want to, you can do like heavy analysis here and go, all right, bink right at about 158. Let's make that a 1. All right, so one time we tagged this level, 2 times we almost tagged the level. Right now you're tagging the level and a little bit higher than that red line. Right? Okay, awesome. So now we know this, what does that tell us? That tells us the MACD is really, really high up. Now, what would be a good scenario that would add validity to, hey, this MACD is high up, maybe it needs to pull back deeper? What scenario could I pay attention to? Well, very obvious zone neckline, if you will. A left, a head, and maybe that right shoulder pops up. What if this formed? So what should I be looking for? A deeper pullback for the 2 hour to give me that solidified higher low. Right now it's saying this is my 2 hour higher low, but that 30 minute could set that trap for the 30 minute divergence finally. Then you actually turn down and then you get really, really close to this center line, right? We see this turn down for a while. We see it get down to deeper prices, and then we turn back up into positive territory, maybe after testing something like 140, 150, because that was a pretty good breakout with the gap up. Maybe we go fill that gap first, but now we have a very clear understanding of what's going on here. Very clear. And that's pretty much, after you take the course and after you look at this for a long time, and you could just stick around the channel, right? I'm not someone who's saying, hey, everyone needs to go buy the course. I think it would help you, but I'm also saying, hey, you could probably stick around here. You could watch about 100 videos, and that's from what I've been messaged from people who learned from the channel. They said it took me about 100 videos, but I put it together. That means you have about, since we post every day, you have about 100 days to maybe be able to put this together, right? Have a good chance to put it together, but it might take you about 100 videos. So now we have a clear plan, though. Very, very nice. All right, cool. Sorry, I know we kind of went through that for a while, but I thought it was super interesting. I thought it'd be fun. As of right now, SPY still holding the upside. We'll see what happens. UPS not delivering. Oh, that's great. Let's go look at UPS. UPS is delivering some post-Christmas coal, that's for sure. Weirdly enough, UPS had the slight flat divergence and flat divergence on the MACD. But once again, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this because this could have went either way. This could have went either way. But if I took calls here, say I took calls here, and I see this before earnings, what should I be doing before earnings, knowing that there's a lot of risk going into the next day? I should be really just leaving runners here. Willow. Oh god, that's funny. But yeah, so you have to understand some other things that we talk about with earnings is if you see a big run up before earnings, that's your get out of jail free card. That's pretty much what that is. It's like a get out of jail free card. I made money in this call that was really close to the center line. Okay, awesome. I take a play, the daily curls up, and then I have something really risky the next day and the 2 hours really high up. Yeah, I could leave some runners if I feel like gambling, but if I don't feel like gambling and I just feel like, hey, this is a good trade and I get a get out of jail free card, taking it, man. Thanks for going live every day. It's really helpful and has helped my trading a lot. It really has given me a better understanding of market structure and allowed me to be more patient. That's awesome. I think if every single retail trader just practiced just a little bit, you don't have to do a lot. It's like, imagine if I just did a little bit of patience. The decision making would change completely. Imagine after a good trade, you just don't look at stocks for 24 hours. You're like, hey, I had a good trade. All right, I'm not looking at stocks for 24 hours. It'd be pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. It's crazy how much it changes. Guys, I used to be trading every single, like I used to try to take a trade almost every day. And it's just, or every other day. And then I started being like, all right, sometimes it works. Like it's kind of like, hey, half the time it's working out, half the time it's not. Let me give myself a little patience there, and only take the ones that are super clear. Things immediately got better. Hey, let me extend out those options so I can have time if things go wrong. Okay, everything got a little bit better. Okay, let me maybe learn about these weekly moves that I started to study. Let me really learn those because those could add to some potential good opportunities. They can make opportunities very clear. Okay, awesome. Then it got a little bit better. That's it. That's it. Like we said the other day, at the basic understanding of what trading is, you're choosing when to buy, you're choosing when to sell, and everything in between is what you use to find the right opportunity to buy, the right opportunity to sell. That's it. Wolf looks like it's turning down right now. That was a wolf in sheep's clothing. What is the most probable way the SPY will move? Right now, upside. Right now it says upside. So this is the base that we are looking for, right? The higher low towards the weekly expected move we discussed yesterday. And now we're looking for, can the 2 hour now extend and curl up? And look at the call side, guys. This is very risky going into earnings. I'm just saying that is risky going into earnings. Very risky. If the dollar has reversal signals here, I'm kind of worried about it. It really doesn't either. That's the crazy part. I mean, it's still in a positive trend, but that is something that is way overexposed to the call side. When's the last time we hit these levels? It was Friday, January 17th. Friday, January 17th. Let's go look in the morning of Friday, January 17th. Friday, January 17th. So at this point here, we kind of saw that gap up. People really took calls here. It actually continued. So let's just pay attention, right? Let's still watch whether or not we're going to see this curl back down on the 30-minute or if we're going to see this curl up on a 2-hour. So that might just be a sentiment change right there because we still had puts coming in. But this does worry me the way the CPC comes out later today. Something I would very seriously watch here is if we get another move like this, since it happened last time. Not saying it has to happen that way again, but I'm just watching it. If we do this and then do that, just be very, very aware that things can get a little ugly. And the best part about this, let me talk about this a little bit further. Let me talk about this a little bit further. I know I'm probably talking your ear off and you guys want to look at charts. I'm sorry about that. I think this is very important. If we did this and Friday we continue that move, and then Monday maybe we continue a little bit, but we curl back down. If we confirm this, these are going to update after on the weekend, right? We're going to put these out on Patreon. It's a great time to join. And so let's look at the downside move and just play with this for a second, right? Where did we start the month? And let's say we have the same amount of implied volatility. Let's see, December 30th. December 30th, right there. Okay, so we're going to do this real quick. Where is it? Right here? Awesome. We're going to do this and say if we have the same amount of implied volatility when this ends, and say, let's see, say it ends up in these areas. Say it ends up in those areas. Well, then we will have technically a monthly expected move. Let's say somewhere around here if we have the same amount. What does that mean? Well, that means my daily pullback, my daily could take me all the way back down to here before I'm able to see positivity. My daily could take me all the way down to here before I see positivity if we make a reversal signal up here. Okay, so just be aware of that. Right? This is just something like interesting to look at. Let me get this yellow line to go back. There we go. So that's something we will be talking about over the weekend, and we'll talk a lot more about that in the update video, the monthly expected move update video we put out on Patreon. But it's just something I would seriously be aware of. NVIDIA was trying to shape up. How's that doing right now? Trying to shape up a higher low. It can go deep, right? As long as it's not violating this completely, then we're good. Right? As long as we don't see wicks below this at all, we'd maybe start to talk double bottom at that point, but we wouldn't be talking like, oh, this is going to be a higher low. Right now, I think you're still trying to gear up, and this is overall becoming confusing and complex. That's why it's like, if you see a big drop like this, it's like, just note, that's not going to be easy to trade. Some scalping day traders are probably good at it, right? Just buy at the monthly, see that rebound and go, okay, I'm done. But now it looks like we're still gearing up to try to take back that 5. Yeah, not worried about it yet. 2-hour hasn't confirmed up yet. 2 hours pretty beat up. So I still think you're going to make an attempt to retest 135 at how it looks right now. Like, this is the cross down. It's on a positive bar right now. If that starts to go negative, I'll be a little more worried. I still think this is mainly doing what we expect, which is I'm going to try to be a higher low, which means upside is more probable at this moment. That can change very quickly. Ooh, BABA. Yeah, we'll look at BABA. What's up with BABA earnings? Okay. Weren't they, like, supposed to give out earnings and just, like, didn't? Pax, do you know about this? Pax, do you know about this? I don't know. I was looking into that a little bit. Either way, the 30-minute, I wouldn't say this is weakness in momentum yet. I don't think you see that on the 30-minute. I think it would be very tight. But from a risk to reward 2-hour perspective here, oh, this is actually good. Yeah, you're going up into this chunk. That's great. If you can remain here, make a range just like last time, and then just hold that range, and then be able to break the upside, I think that would be a very good thing. So what does it mean? Overall, if I'm thinking very simply, I'm looking for the 2-hour to do this in some fashion, and when that crosses up, hey, maybe price is sideways, maybe price is down, but if that crosses up, you got a good chance to take out that 100 level very cleanly. I would like consolidation here from Baba. They haven't announced. New AI project, TradingView is showing it wrong. They haven't announced. Yeah, it's just saying earnings. It's not saying they announced. This is still just, that's why I know it's not announced, which is another thing. But I saw someone mention that on like Twitter or something. And I was like, that's weird. Right, let me go look at this guy. I got to check on IWM again and Matina. Yeah, we're seeing some back and forth here for IWM. Makes sense. We have daily expected move there. If we can consolidate there, I'm happy to hold on to some runners maybe, but the risk tomorrow is still high. That's why if I can make a good play and get out of a good play, hey, cool, make a little bit of money. It's not necessarily my average play, right? I normally like to make a decent chunk of money in my trades. Like I like to make over 50%, maybe even 100 to 200% most of the time. But if the risk is there, the risk is there. I got to take some profit. Nah, oh my God! Now, God, we're just. You know who else is going to say that? Tesla. You know who else is going to say that? Apple. You know who else is going to say? All these companies are going to start to say, we're working on an AI that we think is going to be better than DeepSeek. And if they do that, it's going to make people probably buy into their stocks. So watch that be an Apple earnings or something. Apple earnings is going to be, we're doing buybacks and we're working on this new AI project. We can't discuss it right now. We can't tell you anything about it. But we think it'll be better than DeepSeek. Like, you know what I mean? That's right, David. It happens all the time. Shoot, but when I'm streaming, I'm always like, damn, I need to mark this down, and then I just totally forget about it. Because you guys bring up some really good stocks. You guys bring up some really good signals, to be totally honest. Like, it's nice to see the difference of this channel, like, now. Because, like, around this time last year was when we started doing live video. Isn't that crazy? But it's like, the difference from how people give me stocks to look at then versus now is like night and day. So I really do think you guys are, for the most part, looking at it a lot better. Like, you guys are really pointing out stocks that I would get behind. So it's very nice. Like, it makes me feel good. That's all I'm saying. Well, we have Patreon. I just don't have enough time to do the full Discord, but we do have a little chat in Patreon if you want to chat there. It's just I can't jump in there all the time. If you guys saw my schedule day to day, you guys would be like, Jesus. Seriously. You know what I am saying? Oh, God. Morning, HQ. How you doing? It answered ChatGPT. Well, yeah, but if it's more efficient, I mean, that's the thing. That's the stupid part. It's like now, okay, so DeepSeek, pretty much you have an AI that now, if it's really that efficient, you could potentially, anyone could go in there and with the right, you have to have probably the right amount of skills. You could have it create its own AI platform and sell it to people and get millions of dollars of valuation, then turn it into billions of dollars of valuation. It's crazy because open source is a big deal. You wanna find out, Goonie? Yeah, we can do it. We'll do a little fun poll. We haven't done a poll in a while, so I'm kind of down. I'm down. Let's do a little poll. Let's see who's working today. Who's working and streaming Who's working and trading at the same time? Screw Me. There you go. Votes up there. You check gold? Yeah, we'll check gold. On a boom lift right now? Really? Fraction of what has gone into it thus far. And that was, but where was that comment? What was that comment? Rahul just said it. My thing that I said the other day about ChatGPT and these other companies is because DeepSeek is so open source, couldn't they just, I mean, they're smart people, couldn't they just use DeepSeek to make things even better for themselves? Like, that's kind of what I was thinking. What's the work you speak of? Does divergence in a short time frame mean it generally plays out sooner versus looking at a longer time frame? I wouldn't looking at it that way. Technically, yes, Eli. Technically, the answer to that question would be yes. But the main thing that you take away from divergence based on the time frame is if it's on a 5-minute, there's something you need to consider. The move can be smaller. The reversal could be shorter because it's not a big amount of time. And then the reversal could be weak because it's a very short time frame. There's not a lot of volume in those 5-minute bars. And you could see triple, quadruple, 5 divergences before it actually plays out. If you open it up to a 30-minute, you can see a nice, that's why we compare it to a 2-hour kind of swing move. Right? If you see a 30-minute divergence, it pretty much says, hey, you could see a 2-hour swing move here, right? Or a 30-minute reversal in any way, right? High or low, in this case, what are we saying that could produce? Well, it could produce a 2-hour swing move, and that's all we're expecting out of it. Now, when we talk about, hey, if this 2-hour does this and drops, right, and say you have divergence here, now that's going to affect the daily chart. The 2-hour can move a daily down, which means it's going to take more time, but you can see a bigger move maybe from that. So it's more the weight, I would say. I would be like weight as in heavy. Like how much weight can I put behind a 30-minute? Well, a 2-hour move. How much weight can I put behind a 2-hour divergence? Oh, well, a daily downtrend move maybe here. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. But yes, on shorter time frames, you will see quicker things. They are smaller bars, right? If you look at this 5-minute, you're going, oh, I'm going to see this really quick. Yeah, you're seeing all the divergence, but look how many you get down here. You get like 5 points of divergence before you start that upward move. And then it happens quick, you see a quick pullback. Happens quick, you see a quick pullback. Happens quick, you see a quick pullback. So to say like, oh, 5-minute is the best chart to look at for divergence, I just think that's incorrect. I think the best one is the 2-hour. I think the best one is the 2-hour. The 30-minute is one for like kind of those inner trend moves. Will SPY reach 616 by the end of the day? Pretty damn unlikely. You can maybe hit it by Friday with some big earnings volatility. But that means today you'd have to be like this and then see that continue. It's more likely to see something like this and then you back off and then you see that. And then that goes into next week. That, in my mind, if we get too excited and we do see 616 this week, I'd be very worried holding on to that over the weekend. Personally, that's just my thinking there. 616 is pretty high up there for where we're at right now. You're talking about like I guess like almost a little over a 2% move in like intraday, where all that dark pool activity is starting to pick up more and more every single month. It's like, if you see a big gap up, it's possible tomorrow, but I don't think it's something on the card in the cards for today. 616s would quite literally make me a millionaire. Then Eden, never mind. Let's get the SPY to 616. I'll buy some for you. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, earnings. God, it's rough with earnings, man. SPY, or I'm sorry, volatility. See if that curls up. Tesla is bouncing. Yeah, see, it's just gap fill. Divergence at the low. So once again, like someone asking about divergence, right? You're asking about divergence, whoever it was. Sorry, I can't remember your name right now, but 30-minute divergence. What should I expect from this 30-minute divergence? Well, just a 2-hour trend move up, right? Maybe it's going to be a counter trend move. We see that go into positive territory for a moment, right? So this means I can see a move like this. If this 2 hour is able to confirm up and the 30-minute is telling me that that is likely to do so, so I can maybe take a play, see if that goes up to these levels, watch for the breakdown areas, watch for the breakdown areas, watch for structure to head lower. But if that just continues to go up, see a pullback go again, good stuff. So you got to be a little bit of aware of a lower high on the 2 hour for Tesla right now. But this is an example of, hey, what should I expect from a 30-minute divergence, right? You were asking about, should I expect it to be quick and this and that? It doesn't ever have to be quick, just so you're aware, right? It just depends on if that weakness in momentum, a big seller comes in at that point, which is usually good about finding where sellers can take controls or buyers can take control. So you're trying to get buyers to take control, and then you're going, okay, this should produce a 2 hour pop. And then I can just look at my 2 hour and be like, all right, that's popping. Manage effectively, yeah. Makes sense. Okay, good, Eli. The question asked me if I am at work. Trading is my only job. Oh, yeah, it's a bad question. Really messed up that question, huh? So 30-minute rolls down. It's at risk of breaking the trend. We're at risk of going lower. And then watch. Maybe you get earnings that's just good and this thing gaps out. You know, earnings is just wild. That's why I'm just like, hey, look at IWM now. Resistance, resistance, right? That's why I'm taking profit here. SPY. I mean, shit. I mean, this doesn't, I mean, really it doesn't look that bad, but I'm just worried if we start to break through, lose this, hey, we might go make something, right? But I'd have to wait and be patient longer there. Will Microsoft ever recover? Microsoft is a dangerous one, my friend. That is dangerous. You filled the gap. So it's like, not all is lost. It's a little bit worse if you're starting to close below this. But for the most part, if that daily is, I mean, look at that RSI. This just looks ugly. It can see a snapback. That's a huge gap, right? It's a huge gap. Notice the big gap, and then we bought all that back up, but you're not seeing that buying pressure right now. If that daily crosses, Microsoft is telling us, watch out. Microsoft is genuinely, I think Microsoft's telling you, watch out for the entire market. That's what I think that signal's telling you. Google, if this starts to fail, I think that's a little bit worrisome. What is it? Meta, if that starts to give it up. Remember when we talked about Meta? We talked about earnings? We're like, you see reversal signals, and you go, yeah, this is very likely to see a pullback, which it is. And so I want to take short, 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 and I go, all they have to do during the earnings to mess up your options and mess with your emotions is gap it higher, then fade the whole thing and do it later. And now we're gapping higher and maybe gonna fade it. I think Meta is saying like, hey, this is way too high up for me right now. Apple hasn't even had earnings yet. What's the most likely scenario for Apple here, by the way? It's still lower high according to your MACD. So there are risks going into tomorrow that this could get worse. And so we'll pay attention to this 30-minute. If it crosses down, we got to treat it seriously. This could be failing. My thoughts on Apple earnings, it really depends on if they say buyback. It really depends on if they say AI. And that's the sad part about today is all people hear is AI or buyback, and buybacks make total sense. That's been a thing forever. But the fact that you can just say like very vague things about AI and then get a higher evaluation, it's just insane to me. I think you're going to see that a lot more even. 9 SMA on this candle. Is that a divergence top play from yesterday's high? Like, that wasn't yesterday. That wasn't yesterday. 2 hour. No, that's... If I can't fully understand what you're asking. Let me read it again, Jeff, okay? Mormon, Lucas. I'm not a Mormon. No, I'm just kidding. Good morning. If 2 hour SPY closes below the 9 SMA on this candle, is that a divergent top play from yesterday's high? I wouldn't say so. I would, if you're trying to, I don't know exactly what your thinking pattern is here. We'd probably need to discuss it further or get me to understand it a little bit better. But for the most part, for the day, I want you to take this into consideration. okay? With what we have right now, what do we have? We have yesterday, well, we have this day. We have a high, right? We have a low. We have a higher low, but a lower high, so some consolidation. Today, what do we have so far? We have a high, we have the low, we have a higher high than both. So you've made a new high. Now we have to see if you can make maybe a higher low again in the daily bar to then show this prove some upside. But right now you've made a higher high. So this is telling you it's kind of trending slowly up, just very, very slightly. We're still going to be aware if things turn down. That's not a good sign. But what we're saying here is, what if this is in some way a handle and you're getting a small handle that then curls up? The way that we could overall show this from a viewpoint is looking at a 5-minute, right? If this 5-minute turns back up into positive territory soon, we would say this is just a simple gap fill and we're going to turn up and hit a daily expected move. So let's watch a 5-minute for a little bit and see what happens. If it does, if like I said, even if this curls up, it can always fail, right? So we're ready to react right away. We're not magicians, right? We can't just see green here and expect it to go there immediately. No, we have to understand, if a big seller, if you're going like this, it looks good, and then a seller comes in, hey, that's bad now. Right, this is why trading this week is a little bit rough. It's just because it's going to be very rip around kind of market. So you're seeing a 5-minute move pretty sporadically here. All right, so let's see this 5-minute. Let's see if it turns up. That's it. Yeah, Thinkorswim, everything's different. Thinkorswim, even the weekly expected moves are off. You can get weekly expected moves from Thinkorswim. I've had people come in from Thinkorswim all the time. I've looked at them myself and I go, the calculation is different. So my calculations have worked very, very well. Yeah, we had people come in for Thinkorswim and they joined for like a month. And then they were like, that's weird. Your levels seem to be a little bit better than Thinkorswim. And that's, but if you want to use them, I'm sure they're in the general area. I don't think they're like bad, probably. I just think they're off. And sometimes when they're off a little bit, you can be convinced to do different things. But it's kind of like the Robinhood method we give in the course, right? We just show how you can pretty much get a range for any stock just by clicking a few buttons. Yeah, Jeff. So I didn't understand fully what you were saying, Jeff. But I wanted to give you something to go off of, and that's kind of how I see this right now. Like somehow we're at that breakdown area, we're right before that big resistance. Are we going to scoop up and get that big handle? Then is this right here some kind of cup with a little handle? But overall, that's just fancy talk for like, hey, is the 5-minute going to show resistance here and then turn up and break this high? Like if you're thinking very simply, you can say all the techie terms you want, but overall it's just, hey, do we make an upward move and beat this high? Because then we're very likely to go to 607.70, like if you really want to base it out. And you measure the wick of the bar. Well, gaps, I mean, gaps you can really just, you take the close, right? So a gap here, all right, you just take the close. You can see it on the daily pretty clearly. That's why people like to look at them on daily charts. But if you see them on a little 5-minute like this, you just got to look at the close. Right? Okay, the close, you can read at the top of the screen there on TradingView, 604.48. All right, so we might fill that. Hey, we filled that. Where's the gap that we left behind? Okay, the close here was 601.77. Hey, did we fill that? The low of this is 601.42, so we filled that. A trade with a 9 EMA crosses the VWAP, not anchored on the 1-minute chart. What do you think? Well, that's more day trader style of things. I mean, if you're using VWAP and you're good at using VWAP, then you're paying attention to the right things, right? If you have a 5-day moving average on your chart and you're looking at VWAPs and you know where to place them and you're reacting based on that, it's just not a bad thing. VWAPs are very, very useful for day traders. I don't think they're as useful to me as a position trader, as someone who just likes to, I've had to react quicker, but normally I hold trades for a little longer than this. Or at least hold on to my runners longer. Lately, I've just been selling them faster, but VWAP is very good. I'm not going to hate on you for that. 1-minute charts and stuff like that, that's just not my thing. I'll be totally honest with you. Right, Cheeser? Or Cheese Chaser, sorry about that. My wife's chasing cheese all the time. Dude, sometimes I go upstairs and she's just eating a block of cheese. It's crazy. She likes cheese so much. But if you're really looking at VWAPs and things like that, you're probably paying attention to better things than other people. And then hopefully you're just waiting for those good retests, seeing those breakouts, doing all those things. But yeah, I don't think I'm the correct person to be pointing to be like, oh yeah, you know, how would you use a VWAP? It's like, well, I used to, now I don't. If I'm being just totally honest with you. All right, so we're failing to cross back up as of this moment. Got to turn it back to a 30-minute. Notice that that has crossed down. So what now has changed? What has changed? Are the probabilities still we're going to go there? Or based on the 30-minute right now, has that changed? The 30-minute right now would say, hey, if we break through this, we break this low, we break that weekly, right? So you're kind of going, okay, this looks likely. And for the day, if I break that, this looks likely. Crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. I don't know, rotation-wise, I really thought we'd rotate into energy. Yeah, okay, so energy, this is where I think something could happen. This is actually a massive thing. This is actually really good for energy to do right now, is to turn up. Because what you did here, I mean, I want you to look here. If you really look at this, here's your little zone, right? And if we just pull the top of that across, you were in that zone. You're in that zone, right? So that could be where we want to see a pullback. And then we see that confirm back up. We're aware of a move down to maybe make a strong base. But yeah, I don't hate this by any means for energy. That's a 2-hour, right? So you can make a 2-hour strong base. Let's look at the daily. Look at the daily crossing down, though. That's not necessarily a good thing. That means I got to be aware if that 2-hour fails. Because the daily's crossed down here. That's not necessarily a good thing. You're really looking at this, though. Where did we hold up at right here? It's probably not a perfect measurement there. That's a really good retrace, too. Compared to stocks like tech, retail, wouldn't they move together in similar directions? They would, but I want you to understand something. There's something very key going on this week. That is why JP Morgan is up. Financials had great earnings. Financials already had earnings, and they were good. At least, especially for like something like JP Morgan, you would be crazy to say that that was a bad earnings, right? Buyers wanted to buy that. Now you're at highs, and so they might rotate out of JP Morgan if they want to, if they see other earnings that seem like there's growth potential there, right? But that's why banks are doing well. The reason banks are doing well, or at least JP Morgan in this case, is because they had a good earnings. We can go look at Bank of America and be like, okay, earnings. Well, a little bit rough side, and now you're getting almost a double top. So do I think this is going to turn down soon? I'd watch for Bank of America to turn down soon. I think that's some weakness. I'm seeing that fail to do what it's trying to do. I think it's failing, right? And overall, it failed the first one, right? It came into here, it tried to do it, fail, fail. Go up to here, try to do it again, fail. It's failing right now, which means the daily's at risk of turning down, which means financials might go through a little rough period here. And I'm sorry if this is lagging now randomly. And maybe they're going to see rotation into things with earnings. Isn't there usually a dip, right? Positive earnings, the stock going up? No. No. And unless Noah, unless you have gone through, why is that taking so long? Did I pause? Okay, everyone's crashing. No. The truth of it is, if this stuff will freaking load, can you guys still hear me? I'm so freaking pissed at this thing, man. I don't get why this is happening all the time now in the last 2 days. Okay, you can hear me at least. It's just not wanting to load my stuff while I'm talking. TradingView is having issues. But no, I mean, unless you... Because here's the thing. Someone would have to be selling in order to cause that dip down. And if you're banking on that, and just listen to my voice because I know that this is crappy right now. The only way that you could really figure that out, someone would have to be actually willing to risk money to absolutely manipulate you. So if like Apple, right before the earnings, you see a big red bar like this, that could just be people getting out of some risk, right? Taking less risk before. But if you start to find like, oh, in dark pools, I see a big order every single time earnings is coming right before for a downside move, but I also see a bigger order for an upside move, or maybe this hits lit market and the dark pool is the bullish trade. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could do it. It just seems like a lot of research, a lot of work that could just like be totally wrong. And that's all I'll say about it. I think that sometimes people get scared before an earnings and you see those people take profit and then the earnings ends up being good. I think sometimes you see, even at these levels, people get excited for the earnings and they're right. I think you see people get excited for the earnings and they're wrong, and I think it's just a 50-50 flip, if I'm being totally honest. I don't think you want to... What's the way to put it? Like, am I going to risk money based on seeing just someone sell here? Even if I look back and look at data, and it's proven like, oh, 60% of the time when that happens, it's up. It's like, well, still, it's like they could this time produce numbers that no one knows, right? So it's just, it kind of adds more to earnings is a rough game. Not broken or distorted. Thank you, Christine, for specifying. Yeah, I'm holding through Apple. Yeah, and if you have runners and things like that, like I said, this is a get out of jail free card. If I took calls once we broke, remember we said break the 5, you're going to attempt to maybe go to 236.36, maybe even go to 238.20 to go make the good structure to head higher. But then you have to run into earnings. So this is a get out of jail free card. Yeah, it's all about now. If you come up with that, Noah, and you prove over time that it works, it's just that's going to take a lot of data. And you're going to have to risk money to see if it's actually going to work, right? Just like my theory, the best way to test a theory is put your skin in the game, see how the emotional side goes with it. But I just think that would be a very... I want to just be honest about it. I think that would be a very weird thing to test. That would mean if someone is doing that, trying to scare you out before, if that's what you're saying. Someone scares them out before and then the earnings good every time. That's kind of what you're trying to look into. If you're doing that, that means they are risking money against the bullish trade to trick you. That means that the order that they put in for the bearish trade to cause the stock to go down, they're going to be wrong about that every single time. It's like they lose money on that every single time. And that's not something that I like to see, right? Because Wall Street does not like losing money. To figure out that kind of manipulation would be hard. TradingView is not happy with me right now, guys. I'm gonna leave it on the SPY so we can watch. Let's actually look at that 5-minute. See if we get some kind of move here. TradingView, my goodness, TradingView, why you hate me? TradingView, why you hate me? TradingView, why you hate me? Yeah, Noah. If you figure it out, Noah, if you want to put in the time and figure it out and tell me what you think, and then we can start to pay attention together. I would make a spreadsheet, Noah, if you're going to look into it. I would look back at least, weirdly enough, you probably need a sizable pool, so you're going to have to do a lot of research. You need like 100 earnings. You need like 100 earnings. Then you have to say, hey, what happened at the end of the day in the last, say, hour of the day? Put up an hourly chart, see what happened in the last hour. And then you have to keep going from there. Cash Rules is like, anyone swinging them Apple calls into earnings? Nah, man, I'm staying away from Apple. And I love trading Apple. I really do. It was so good to me in a bear market. I cannot complain. I think in that bear market, I had like 14 trades in 4 months with just Apple. And then that one big one with TLT. My goodness, I hope. Oh God. Oh God, I love volatility. I love this. I love this. This is so awesome. I just wish I had more balls at that time to take shorts at the correct levels, because those would have been good trades too, but we didn't really have the divergences. I should have just played the lower highs on the 30-minute. Damn. See, I can always be improving, but am I going to be bummed out? No, I made money through that time, so. I just control when I buy or sell. That's it. Really, really simple. We need more polls. Here, let's end that one. Let's do this. Let's do a poll. Let's do another one. We're going to end this one. What was it? Yes, a lot of you guys watching from work. That's awesome. Hey, I hope you guys are having a good day out there. Let's do another one. I'm going to do a different one. Meta puts up over 500%. That's wild. I'd be, like I said, Meta. Scary, scary. Let's do one. Let's do a poll here because I kind of wanted to see this. Oh, I'm typing badly here. I want to see what you guys think. I want to see what you guys think. This is a very simple question. The question is the next all-time high a bull trap for a crash? So what I'm asking is, if we get to another all-time high, is this going to be some kind of massive trap? If we do this, is that going to be some kind of massive trap the next time we go to all-time highs? The next time we go to all-time highs, is that a bull trap and we are going to see something ugly? That's what I'm asking you. I want to see what you think. Don't know, don't care, I trade like water. That's the perfect answer, Surrey. God dang. God dang. God dang. God dang, that was a good one. That was so good. Maybe not the next time. Okay. Put your votes in. Let's just see how people are feeling. Are we feeling like there's a trap to the upside, or do we think this will last a little bit, right? Is the first new all-time high going to be just one more upward move, going to be some kind of trap? Which, that doesn't even seem, right? What's the more probable thing right now? Hey, we might actually break this, right? We haven't seen that 5-minute curl up, but I just wanted to see your guys' thoughts. Pretty much the next time we hit an all-time high, is it going to be a big bull trap? Very quickly. I understand why Meta is tanking. I understand. I understand completely. The risk to reward is awful here. And you have divergence now. Multiple point. Now it's on the MACD at the same time, just not with the original point. So take it with a grain of salt. Could just be a 2-hour pullback. 2-hour pullback's the most likely thing here. The risk to reward is garbage here. I'll even do this to display it a little bit. Am I on a 2-hour? All right, remember this? Reward. Risk. Which one's bigger? Let's see. Let's see. Here, we'll color code it. The reward was about that. The risk was that. Here, I'll put it in red so you're more scared of it. Which one's bigger? I don't think Meta's horrible. I think this will just be a 2-hour pullback. That's what I think. And it could just go sideways. That's why I'm not going to bet against it. It's still very, very bullish. It's still above the 5. But the timing of taking calls here was just like, yeah, I got a little upside, but if you don't take profit quickly, you might be screwed. Bollinger Bands were good at telling us that. And it's not to say that I can't see more upside. It's just to say, hey, is the risk to reward with me? Do you think we'll reach all-time high next Friday? Right now, it's not looking likely. According to my 30-minute, I need that to turn back up. That's why we were watching a 5-minute, seeing if that could turn back up, take back the 5. I still think that's the most probable thing, but I don't have enough I have the 30-minute going in the wrong direction for me to say that right now. Does that make you, like, does that make sense? I think that that will happen, but it's not proven with the 30-minute chart right now. It's not proven with the 30-minute chart right now. We have not lost this low. I'm not worried about too much downside yet. We haven't lost this low, so I'm not worried about more downside yet. But the 30-minute is facing down, and so I would be a total hypocrite to say, like, yeah, that's for sure gonna, like, that's highly probable right now. From what we're seeing, it's highly probable. But as the chart stands now on the 30-minute, it's saying that's not even possible yet. I need to turn back up. So it's like the answer is yes with a grain of salt right now. Just like most people are answering, yes, I believe that the next move, if we go to all-time highs quickly, right? Or just that, the next all-time high will be a trap is pretty much what people are saying. Hey, thank you guys so much for liking the stream. 82 likes. We got to get to a hundo. We got to get to a hundo. Come on, 8 people, or what is that, 18 people? 18 people. I'm looking right at you. I'm looking at you and I'm going, you son of a bit. No, I'm just playing. Like it if you want to like it. You ain't got to. I don't want to control your hands. If you don't want to clicky click on a little thumbs up, that's fine. Oh, never mind. You guys clicky clicked on it. Thank you so much. Hey, more than 18 of you did. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Just liked it, sir. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for doing that. My buddy that owns a plumbing company's last name is Bates. That's fun. The day is still young, exactly. And once these things start to be proven, and it changes, right? That's trading like water. Understanding that the most probable thing is an all-time high, but understanding that the chart's not with me to risk money, right? It was with me, it went against me right away. Right? I'm not going to hate on you if you tried to buy calls here, but you should be immediately looking at a 15-minute. You should immediately notice that that crossed down, and you should be like, okay, this is where I have to take my risk off the table. This is where I'm not willing to risk the money anymore. And then if this whips back up, you go, I'm willing to risk again. This is why I like the extended time frames, right? Or bigger days, more days to expiration, because this type of little thing won't hurt me if I have a month out call, right? This will be minus 5%. And then if it curls up, ooh, plus 50%, right? But if I hold on to this and it keeps dropping, it gets down to here, ooh, minus 20%, minus 30%, minus 40%, minus 50, it'll keep going. So this is great. We wanted to see this. We wanted to see a little 5-minute to curl up and go positive here. I just want to see. I want to see if this 5-minute gets us to that 607.70. Inverse Wall Street bets, Noah. I mean, sometimes. Hey, Tyler, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you being here. If you want to take the poll, Tyler, go ahead and take it. Right now we got about, what is it, 60 votes? And most people leaning towards, hey, yeah, if we go to an all-time high, the next time we go there, it will be some kind of bull trap. I wonder how quick it'll be a bull trap. Like a 2-hour trap or a daily trap? A February trap, like an end of February trap, or just a trap right away? And the question is right away. So right when we get there, it's a 2-hour trap. That's kind of the question there. All right, 66 voted. Good stuff. What are the odds the market makes an all-time high without NVIDIA at higher prices? Very low. Pretty freaking low. You would have to see huge inflows into other stocks. Huge inflows. So what's the most likely thing for right now for NVIDIA? It's flipped back and forth. It's getting complex. But right now, the most likely thing is to head lower. If that can whip back around, someone buys in, then it's really, hey, I'm leaning towards upside if this thing can go positive. I'm looking for us to take back that 5 at the next curl up. Very, very nice. But it'll be difficult. I mean, think how much money is in NVIDIA. That's crazy. And if Apple, like I said, if Apple wasn't going up while NVIDIA was tanking down, and Apple was doing this, right, during this time, Apple looked like this. If that didn't happen, You probably would have filled this gap like in real market time, right? And if Apple actually continued to go down by the amount that it went up, actually, you might have ended up even lower because people's sentiment really would have been bearish there. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. I can stick around for just a little bit longer, guys. Hey, thanks for saying that, Scott Sue. I appreciate that. I just hope to be a little bit helpful. I hope to keep people calm. I know that trading stocks can be a crazy time, but I appreciate you saying that, man. Those little comments, remember, words of affirmation, right? So words of affirmation is my love language, and some people telling me, hey, you're still doing a good job. That's very nice. I like to hear it. Made a good short trade here. Yay, nice job, Traditional. Nice job. If this 5-minute curls up, just know the SPY. Hey, we can see that 30-minute whip around. Let me go. Let me check on IWM. I think you want to consolidate longer, but this thing could break through. It's a 2-hour up. Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's doing exactly what I want to get back in with most of the contracts. Still holding runners. I'm very light, though. Very light on IWM runners. Literally like two. And I couldn't buy that many contracts. It's expensive. It's an expensive week to trade. Volatility higher, expensive week to trade. Close at the top of this 5-minute top candle. Not bad. You guys want to look at 5-minute or 30-minute? Yeah, that could take place, Goonie. Yeah, that could take place. Does anyone have a pet rock? Wait, what show is that from? What's that? Isn't that like a cartoon or something? I feel like growing up I saw a cartoon where he has a pet rock. Is that just like SpongeBob or something? Because everyone is so bearish. Well, we can prove if everyone's really bearish on Nvidia. We can go look. We'll see yesterday, right? We'll get yesterday's data. We'll go into here. We'll go to Nvidia. Let's see if people are bearish on Nvidia going into Friday. Bearish on Nvidia going into Friday. I don't know about that. 130 call strike, still the highest. Well, let's see if we piled on some bearishness. 130 call strike, still the highest. Calls, calls, calls. So, maybe intraday. Maybe intraday. Let me do this, by the way. Where's my 30-minute here? Load, damn you. Alrighty. Such a clean looking chart. I'm looking at this for fun. If you guys want to look at it for fun, hub.com. Just looking at these type of Elliott Wave stuff for fun. Hub.com. All you have to do is make a little account. It's free. I just want to see how it tracks, because I don't know if Greg's with us today. All right, IWM, good positivity there. Good positivity for the SPY here. Still within range of going positive. That's a good thing. Shut up, Quez. Did you really? Man, that sounds like my daughter trading. Thanks for the giggle. We're sorry. We're laughing with you, hopefully not at you, right? We're kind of laughing at you, and I'm sorry about that, but 5-minute has not curled up yet. Well, wipe yourself off and get back in here. We got trading to do. It was objectively funny. Yeah, if it would have happened to me, all you guys would be laughing. Tell me you wouldn't. The last time I went to the bathroom for more than a minute and a half, I came back to the chat being like, he's pooping. That was just rude. My wife's gonna make me homemade ramen again today, and I'm pumped. Jacked. Jacked to the tits. Oh, Tyler, I saw that you're new here. Tyler, you still in here? I just looked up in the chat and I saw your message there. Tyler, you still here? Just want to make sure. I took a 0DT Iron Condor on SPX outside the expected move today, but now it came up to the edge. Yeah, so I'm a classic guy. I mean, I just like to be like, hey, what's the direction of this, up or down? I've tried to do Iron Condors. I've tried to do spreads. I've tried to do all these kinds of things. And most of the time, I ended up being break even a lot of the time. And so it didn't prove for me to be a strength for myself, so I just stopped doing it, to be 100% honest with you. So I might not be the best person to ask about that type of information. I would love to sit here and give you some fake info and act like I'm an expert, but I'm not an expert in everything, and I was not proven to be very successful with those type of trades. So I just want to be honest with you about that. Yeah, it makes sense, Tyler. It's a confusing time, and you got earnings, so I get it. But I just wanted to be totally honest with you on that. I am someone who just wants to tell you, like, hey, the behavior of this looks like this. Hey, your MACD is telling you this. Hey, this is a bad decision. This is a good one from my standpoint. But yeah, I just want you to be 100% with that. I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, Tyler, I appreciate you being here, buddy. Thanks for subbing, dude. That did not prove to be one of my strengths. So for me to act like one of my, say, if you want to call it a weakness, I don't really call it a weakness. I call it like I just couldn't be successful with it. I don't think it hurt me too much. But for me to potentially have a weakness there and then me act like I know how to do that very, very well, that's almost like just a lie. And I don't like lying. Correct about the 2-hour pullback on what? And Catch a Fire wanted to look at Oracle. Let's go look at that. And if you have a stock you want me to check out, Tyler, I'm more than happy to, right? When a new sub comes in, we like to look at a stock for them. Oracle, not bad. Once again, just giving you some kind of higher low. Really rejecting heavily here, so very interesting. The 2-hour hasn't curled up yet. Now you've gotten to the key level, right? You've gotten where that gap resistance starts. So actually, filling this gap would be pretty good. I don't think you want to call this cup and handle, but you would say consolidation to maybe fill this gap quickly and then turn to the upside would be nice. Some consolidation before, and I'm mainly saying that, look at this, we're slightly overbought. If it keeps going to 2-hour curls up, yeah, we can continue, but overall, it's just like, I would like this to pile up for a sec, then go, or even just quickly fill this, then go. Get me out of those conditions, even for a brief moment, and turn back up. Meta, the 2-hour, that's what I'm saying, the 2-hour pullback is the most likely thing. It doesn't have to happen. It's just like, am I going to see a great trade setup with a chart that looks like this? I mean, let's just do the same thing. How many times have we seen the 2-hour go to this level and continue to go upward? Since April of 2024. Once. One time. So what is not X here? So X equals 1. What is not X? Well, not X is way more than 1. 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 It means you're very likely to see a 2-hour pullback here. Right? That's just a very simple way to think about it. I just use common sense with this. This is like the highest up the MACD has been since February. So just got to be cautious with it. And in February, look, it's still continued to go up, but this is what I'm talking about. It's going to be tight, 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 tight. And then eventually something bad happens. This is why I'm not really condoning like shorting something that's up. I mean, you can do whatever you want with your money. I'm just talking about my decision making is like, hey, this is a very positive trend. This could just go sideways for a long time and then curl up into positive territory. But I think some kind of retrace move, maybe down to 650 would be good. SPY for the dub. Let's go. Dang it. SPY for the dub, and then it just, did it confirm back up? This will be a very confusing MACD. This will be difficult, because now you confirmed up again, which is a good thing, right? This is good. It means like, hey, we're holding. There's still buyers under here. This is a moment, flip back and forth, flip back and forth, flip back and forth. It's so funny how the bars are small, and then right when Jerome starts up in the afternoon, oh, we start seeing some stuff, man. So this will be a difficult point. I think IWM is the more simple one. You're just trying to see something like this. This is why I'm backing off. I think we could see a moment like that. I think we should remain here for a while and then see if something can curl up. DIA, worried about this one, but I think it's going to get another curl up. DIA might give you some great information here. This might be a trade setup soon, so pay attention. And we're not showing it off just in Patreon, right? We're showing it off right here. Something that I would watch for DIA is some kind of daily pullback, maybe, or even just 2 hour, right? 2 hour bigger pullback, I think, would be the main thing to pay attention to, actually. You're noticing squeeze-like behavior, you're remaining at the highs, holding up. So it's very likely that we get a test of this 5, and we continue the trend, right? The 30 minutes still positive. So if this can curl up, it would say upside looks likely. We're gonna have daily expected moves posted on Patreon tonight for every stock that we cover, right? Every single stock in there, DJT, AMC, GME, what do we have? We got, oh, I guess I could just look over here. Pretty much all these stocks over here, we give daily expected moves for. SoFi, Palantir, GLD, those are good. And I know someone wanted to look at gold. We'll look at that in a moment. So if this is going to curl up, which it is suggesting that with the RSI, almost like right now, then what would be likely? Hey, 450.16. There is a call wall at 450. So if we do this and it fails, and you make that next divergence, I mean, look at this RSI, just do. That is going to be something I'm willing to risk money behind. I'm willing to risk money behind the weakness and momentum for a bigger 2 hour pullback here, if that takes place. That's what I'm saying. This setup looks like, okay, we need to retrace, right? Where would that retracement go to? Well, the thing is, if it's really deep because you've gone up, you haven't really seen it. You've seen one moment, but if sellers take control and then buyers aren't willing to buy it, you could end up back down in this zone towards like 434 or even 432, right? 431, 432 before you actually get that to curl up. Now, I think this is a very bullish move. If it wanted to, it could bloop up, turn down, and then just curl up very easily soon. But the cool thing about this is you're heading into Friday. So if you make the upward move and Friday you see that produce downside, and then next week you have a weekly expected move here, you can see that go to that weekly expected move and be like, awesome, goal achieved. And that might happen by Wednesday, and then you're like, hey, this is where we're likely to bounce. This is very nice. Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this one. This is fun. This one's good. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but yeah. What's the blue line called? This blue line is the 5-day, so you can put up a simple move. So you can type SMA and just have it on the 5. And then this is something, someone asked me about it like last week. You guys don't understand how crazy things have been around here with baby girl's birthday and all that. This is one of the most stressful times for me possible. Not just because of work, not just because of other work, not just because of YouTube on top of trading as well, but because I have my baby's birthday, her first birthday. I have Valentine's Day with 2 women. I'm surrounded by girls here at the house. It's scary. And then the other thing is, and my wife loves Valentine's Day. It's her favorite holiday. Shoot me. The other thing is, my wife's birthday is in February as well, like right at Valentine's Day. So I've got a lot to do. But if you want to get this on your chart, all you got to do is type SMA, get a simple moving average. All you have to do is put a length of 5, and then go down here and put 1 day, right? 1 day, and that's it. Because it'll come like this. It'll say chart. If you do chart, that's going to chart it, right? It's going to say if I'm on a 2 hour, it's going to give me a 5 for the 2 hour. But if I put a day, then it's going to put a daily 5-day moving average. right? It's going to put a daily 5-day moving average, and that can help me really with the seeing things on the almost like on the macro side. You're seeing like a little bit of macro with your blue line. It's very helpful. Double down on calls for February. Yeah, it sounds like I got to make a bunch of money by like Valentine's Day to pay for everything. I already got her a gift. I can't tell you what it is because she's sneaky, and sometimes she sneaks into the chat because she can kind of hear me up there just a little bit. And if she hears her name, sometimes she pops into the chat, and I can't have her finding out what I got her. Natural born nerds like snap, man. I feel for that. So yeah, I think this would be an actual trade setup that could happen soon. We want to make sure those are confirming, but that would say like, okay, 2-hour rejection divergence and a 30-minute divergence. So you got to be aware of a daily curl down. Why are you talking about me? See what I'm saying? The terrible gamer girl. Come on, spy. Yeah, I got to take off in a moment, guys. Which is unfortunate. You're getting some weird thing. Actually, this is pretty good. This is pretty normal, right? One little fake out, then we see what happens. The little cup and handle in here possibly happening. LTBR, trying to decide whether or not the top is in for the day. Okay, let's go look at LTBR, and then I might have to head out of here, guys. The urge to take more trades. I know, itching. Okay, 30-minute, immediately overbought. You're testing the breakdowns in here, right? You'd hope that goes a little... Actually, no, the wick went to where you kind of want it to, right? At least in this little area right here would be good. That's actually pretty good you didn't fall from here, though. It's actually pretty good, because that was where the big drop happened. So right here, this is pretty good. So what I'd be looking for here is structure to remain good, right? Look for it to remain good. The 2-hour is curling up, but just because a 2-hour curled up doesn't mean you can't see some kind of 15-minute sideways price action, a retest of the 5 coming up, right? A retest of this right here. We see gap coming in. We see resistance, we see, ooh, we gap to get some explosive move through that. So I just would be open to this. If it curls down, it's kind of by the center line. I wouldn't say too deep to scare me too much. I'd be open to bad things, but I think this is more probable, right? Or this would be very nice, and then you break through. So the 2 hours confirming up, it just means I might have to manage this trade if I'm taking a 2-hour swing. This is very good. This is nice. Boom, boom, boom. This is kind of what we're saying the SPY is doing. So I don't mind it. Let's look at a daily for you just in case. Daily crosses down, bad, but right now, not crossing down. And, wow. 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 Wow, what the heck? Wow. Wow. Not bad. So what you're looking at here is, I would just draw this across. I mean, it's fine you saw resistance above. It's fine you broke out. And then you're almost like a trap. Okay, we pull back. But left, very tight, but left, maybe a big ass head. And then a right shoulder, very tight though. Very, very tight. So that 2-hour crossing up, you know, I can take a trade, right? It looks good. The 2 hours crossing, that's a great confirmation. It's a great confirmation. It's just you missed out a little bit. That's fine though. Great cross up. Be open to the little 30-minute or 15-minute pullbacks. And then if those can remain, hey, it's good. But the 2 hours just saying I can go right now. And then we watch out for what? Traps above you. Little things like this. You watch out for those if those start to confirm. But that's just something to react to. Overall, it's holding up well. It got to a great price point. It pulled back. I don't see anything terrible about it. The SPY was able to do it. All right. Not bad. Not bad. It was negative, so we got to pay attention if it actually can take back this 5. But this is starting to add more credibility to this 30-minute curled back up, right? So now you have the 30-minute curled up. So immediately you see what trade like water really means. And this is why I really like to wait till it's obvious. I don't like to sit there and go back and forth, back and forth. I will sometimes. But overall, this is like, okay, we're going to go up. Okay, now we're more likely to break down. Oh, wait, buyer stepped in. Now we're likely to go up again. That's how confusing this 30-minute is at this moment. Yeah, Jeffrey, I appreciate you asking. So right now, as it stands, with the price action, as I'm about to get off the stream, 607.70 would be more likely with the structure of it. Now, if that changes, then it changes, okay? Thank you guys so much for joining today. I really do appreciate it. I think the questions were great. We got some people coming in who subbed, who asked some more questions. I think that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Like, you're spending your valuable time with me, and I appreciate that. And I just hope we can continue to remain helpful. And overall, we're seeing something that could look like a decent base here. So we're paying attention if we can see some upside. If we start to fail, we have to be trading like water and managing that risk, okay? If you guys want to learn any of this stuff, okay, this is going to be the last few days I say this annoying bit, but if you would like to learn, the course is 90% off for the weekend here. And so if you want to get knowledgeable about why we were looking for this type of move, why we were looking for this type of behavior around our weekly expected move, why we took profit down in these areas and things like that, it's a great time to get the course. It's only for $100, okay? Thank you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you're managing risk, you understand the volatility that could come with earnings, so you're always paying attention to risk throughout this week, I think you'll be just fine. Just note that you have to be managing during earnings week all the way down to the first bit, which is how much money am I willing to risk? Manage the position sizing. Thank you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. I'll leave it on for a little bit if you guys want to chat back and forth, though. I'll leave it on just for a little bit if you guys want to chat back and forth, all right? Talk to you guys later. See you on YouTube. And daily expected moves for Patreon members. Those are coming out tonight as well. So we will give you that list of daily expected moves for tomorrow. Awesome. Peace out.